The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look at my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Welcome into a Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. If you're in the market for a brand new or slightly used automobile, you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your wallet, and, you owe it to your bank account to check out Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown before you make that big transaction. Let the folks at Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown, let them get a chance to earn your business. You will not be disappointed. Trust me on this one. You won't be disappointed. All right, 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, open for business. This is the last weekend of high school basketball for the girls before we get into tournament mode. As a matter of fact, Division I will start their tournaments tomorrow afternoon. Boardman will be taking on Louisville. Canfield is going to be hosting Hudson. I believe Austintown Fitch is in action as well tomorrow afternoon, as the D1 tournaments will get underway on Saturday afternoon. And then D2, 3, and 4 will begin their tournament trail on Wednesday. And we're going to have 20 games on the network on Wednesday. It's going to be unbelievable how many games that we are going to be putting down on the network. It's going to be pretty freaking fantastic. As a matter of fact, I'll be hosting Hudson. Those are the three games. They all start at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and then on Wednesday, as I mentioned, D2, D3, and D4, they will start their tournament trail. East is at Mooney. Geneva is at Lakeview. Ashtabula, Edgewood at Struthers. Girard is at Hubbard. Cheney at West Branch. Niles goes to Canton South. That's in Division 2. D3 tournaments. All of these games, by the way, start at 7 o'clock. D3 tournaments. Crestwood is at South Range. Liberty at Kirtland. Mogador at Brookfield. Waterloo at Crestview. Pie Valley is at Columbiana. And St. Thomas Aquinas will go to Garrettsville, Garfield. And then D4, Kennedy is at McDonald, Lordstown at Springfield, Wellsville at Western Reserve. Heartland Christian will visit Valley Christian. Badger at Jackson Milton. Sebring is at Newton Falls. Lisbon at Maplewood. And Cardinal comes down to visit Leetonia. Those are the games that will take place on Wednesday as the girls' tournament will get underway. D1 starting on Saturday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon. Again, Boardman will be going to Louisville. Canfield will be hosting Hudson. Fitch will go to Madison. Those three games will start at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And then we made mention the D2, D3, and D4 tournaments for the girls start this coming Wednesday. The guys have one more week. They have one more week of high school basketball, and then their tournaments are going to be starting the following week. And I believe most of those tournaments are going to be taking place the following Tuesday. I'd have to look and see when Division I starts. I know they're going to start a day or so early. So I believe they start 1 week from Monday, where the 2, 3, and 4 will start 1 week from Tuesday. All right, let's get to the phone lines real quick. 330-886-0813. Rich, you're on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. What up, brother?
Good afternoon, young man. How are you?
I'm good, man. Rich, you there? Uh-oh. Yeah, you got to call again, brother. I don't know what the hell just happened there. All right, coming up on the show today, 4 really, really good boys basketball coaches. We got Mike Wernicke from Struthers calling in at 12:15. Steve French from Springfield calling in at 12:45. Jimmy Francis Shelley from McDonald calling in at 1:15. Kerry Palermo from Mooney calling in at 2:15. Rich, you back?
Yeah, you went into cyberspace somewhere there, Rico.
All right, what's going on, brother?
Nothing. How you doing? I haven't had a chance to keep up with the local hoop scene. What's going on? Talk to me. What's happening? What do I get to watch tonight?
You get a lot of games on the network tonight. We'll bang through those during the course of today. But there's a ton of games on tonight on the network. Also, Open Look with Mike Ackelson and the fellas here at headquarters of YSN. If you want to check out Open Look, you go to ysnlive.com.
I knew he couldn't stay retired. He likes his job too much. Yeah, you guys haven't made. You go to work and play and keep track of stats. What a life! I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal. I'll tell you that.
Yes, it is. Okay, I know I'm kind of late on the Super Bowl gig, but the old John Madden adage still nails it. When my big guys push you around, we're going to kick your ass.
Yeah, I mean, that's at the end of the day, Rich. It's everyone can talk about, you have this, you have that. Look, at the end of the day, in football, the game is won and lost at the line of scrimmage. You better have an offensive line to protect your all-pro quarterback, or your all-pro quarterback ain't going to be worth a damn. And you better have a defensive line to pressure the opposing quarterback, or you're going to get carved up.
Well, credit to Kansas City. Their defense is pretty solid. They got worn down there, but Tony Romo made a great statement on that one game that said when Kansas City's offensive tackle went out, or offensive guard, I'm not sure which one, they had to switch 3 positions, and it diluted 3 positions. And that pretty much sums it up there.
Yeah, when the right tackle was out, they diluted and affected 3 different positions, and you knew right then and there with Tampa Bay's really nice pass rush that they were going to be able to get to Patrick Mahomes, and they forced him to throw the ball early. You couple that with Mahomes' toe injury, where a lot of his passes had a downward trajectory because of the toe injury. It just spelled doom for Kansas City. Now, a lot of folks are saying, "Oh, Kansas City, they're a one-trick pony." No, they'll be back because that offensive line will be healthy.
You should bet on that. And you know what amazed me about Mahomes? I'm not a big Mahomes fan, but credit due to him. And the guy is parallel with the ground, just about to hit, and he's slinging balls, and just off the fingertips in the end zone for his receivers. That's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, he's a very talented quarterback. There's no two ways about it. And his receivers didn't do him any favors. He threw some passes that were right on the button, and his receivers didn't do him any favors. Now, it wouldn't have made a difference. I think Tampa Bay was just that much of a better team. And again, in order to beat Kansas City, you got to put a pass rush on Mahomes without blitzing, and that's exactly what Tampa Bay did. And, oh, by the way, you got one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time who didn't make any mistakes and had a very solid game because Kansas City didn't lay a finger on him for most of the day. So you put those two things together, you're not going to win very many games, and the officials called a much tighter game in the Super Bowl than they did 2 weeks earlier. So it was just a bad matchup for Kansas City all the way around.
I don't follow much of the NFL. I try, listen to you guys, and I'll catch things on a phone with replays and stuff. But Tampa, they had what were the first half of the season? I don't know how many wins they had. They weren't lighting the place on fire.
No, I think they were. I think they were 7 and I think they were 7-5 after 12 games, and they finally got hot, and the rest is history. I mean, you get hot, you got a solid defense, you got a veteran quarterback that's been there, done that. If they get hot, look out, and that's exactly what Tampa did. And credit this football team and credit Brady. I mean, you had to get past Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes, and the defense was up to the challenge. Brady was up to the challenge. They deserved the Super Bowl ring. There's no two ways about it.
They came on healthy and hot at the end, and then throw Gronkowski in the mix. Oh, boy.
Yeah, Gronkowski was, he woke up and he looked like the Gronkowski from 10 years ago. So it was a fun day if you're a Tampa fan.
Well, yeah, like I said, I really don't know what they did on free agency, but I know that they got running backs from the Jaguars, and they piecemeal here and there. And I'm not really sure who they signed Brady, of course, and Gronk, but the rest of that team, the running backs are phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a solid football team, and they've said in the Super Bowl parade they wanted to bring everyone back. We'll see if that happens. Brady will be another year older. I don't know if Tampa Bay has the magic to repeat again. We'll see. I mean, they're a solid team, no two ways about it.
It's a 5-letter word, CASHE, case. Bring it back. Hey, but on a final note, Brady, this is 10 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't think that's ever been done.
Well, no, but I mean, if you're going to go to football championships, I had this discussion earlier in the week, even though 6 of the 10 are not in the National Football League, the fact that there was a quarterback in the history of professional football that has not only been to 10 championship games, they were all consecutive. From 46 to 55, Otto Graham led the Cleveland Browns to 10 straight championships, winning 7 of them.
I would say Brady's. So you're talking about Brady and Otto Graham in the same sentence. That's pretty darn good.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And then you got to throw Bart Starr in there. He won 5 NFL championships and 2 Super Bowls, which were completely separate from NFL championships because the first 4 Super Bowls were against AFL teams, which was a separate league. So technically, Bart Starr has won 7 championships as well.
It's amazing. Those guys times where quarterback was open game.
Yeah.
The guys today couldn't hang with that.
You got that right. All right, brother, I got to get scatting. See you. 330-886-0813, the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline open for business. Let's go to the phone lines. I believe we are going to get the head basketball coach of the Struthers Wildcats on board, Mike Warnecki. Coach, is this you?
This is me. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I mean, I can't be doing as well as you, obviously, being that your guys are undefeated and you're having a grand old time with this season. But I'm fine. You're a lot better.
Well, I mean, the undefeated record is nice. I'll be honest with you, but that hasn't been our focus. As a matter of fact, we don't even talk about it. We're just fortunate that we've gotten 18 games in. I mean, we just every day we get in here, we talk about how blessed we are and how fortunate we've been, with the way the season's gone for some other schools that we've been able to get 18 in, and we've got number 19 tonight and number 20 tomorrow. So, as long as we can keep playing games, that's all we're focused on.
Coach, I'm looking at the schedule. You have Lakeview tonight. This will be the final league game for the Wildcats. Then you have Howland at the Fieldhouse tomorrow night. You have McDonald next Friday night in the Fieldhouse. Do you have a 22nd game, or are you going to finish the season with 21?
No, we're going to finish with 21. My thought process was a week ago or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, when Poland went on quarantine, we were supposed to play. Poland would have been our 22nd game, and that was supposed to happen Tuesday of this week. And I just said to myself, as we get to the last week and a half of the season, is it really worth it to push your luck and say, let's just get somebody in here, and then all of a sudden, something happens and trying to get one game, you lose 3. So I just said, we've been fortunate to get to 21 if we do get to that number next Friday. And I said, let's just leave it at that and try to get ready for the tournament.
Coach, one of the things that impresses me about your basketball team, you have gone up against a lot of teams that do a lot of different things. Was that the reason why you scheduled these games? Because you knew that, the St. Joe's, the Perrys, the teams in the Northeast State, the various teams in the Northeast State, they all bring something different to the table, whether it be offense or defense. Was that the reason why you put this schedule together as you did?
I'll be honest with you, that is part of the thought process, but as games were getting canceled and we were trying to find teams, we were just trying to find the best teams that we could play within the time frame that we had available. Like Canfield wasn't originally on our schedule, and we picked them up. Cleveland St. Joe's wasn't originally on our schedule. We were supposed to scrimmage them, but it got canceled because of COVID, and then we ended up picking them up to play. Same thing with Warren JFK. There's a lot of games that we picked up, and we just said, let's try to find the best teams that we can. And again, it's easy for us at one point because, like the other teams their schedule has to coordinate as well. Like we tried to get some things going with Mooney and other people like in town, but, if we were available, they weren't. And, sometimes it's like, well, do you want to play 3 games in 4 days? That type of stuff. The styles, though, it really ended up helping us out because, as you're preparing for the tournament, you want to see as many different things as you can. And, we've seen pressing teams, we've seen trapping teams, we've seen zone teams. We've just seen a lot of different stuff, and it's been to our benefit. We've had to figure things out a lot of times on the fly.
Struthers Wildcats head basketball coach Mike Warnecki joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline. You guys will play 21 games before you go into the tournaments, and you decided that you did not want to take the bye. You wanted to jump right into the tournament. So let's see, 11 days from now, which will be next Tuesday, 1 week from Tuesday, you guys will open up tournament play against Niles at the Fieldhouse and a win there, and then you'll play on Friday against Geneva in the Fieldhouse. And being that you're the number 1 seed and the tournaments are brand new and where we've put two districts and smashed them together into one large district with 2 winners, you now, because of your number 1 seed, you have home court advantage through the entire district tournaments. This is going to be a first because normally, in the district semifinals, everyone goes to one place and you play on a neutral floor. I got to ask you, Coach, even though you're the number 1 seed, let's toss that aside for a second. Are you good with this new format?
I haven't decided yet. I'll let you know afterwards. Look, am I going to complain that we could, that we'll play at home all of our tournament games, as many as we're fortunate enough to play? No, I'm not going to complain with that. Look, if we weren't in a pandemic, I'd feel totally different about it because we would have some massive crowds here at the Fieldhouse. Unfortunate for us and our fans, that's not the case. There is something, though, when it comes to state tournament basketball at the high school level. There is something to be said for neutral site stuff and that type of environment that it can create. Now, I will say, I think when you do neutral site stuff, I would rather have double headers and allow people to come in and see all 4 teams in one night. That's just me, but will it feel like a high school tournament? Probably not, and that's. That's something that we all have to kind of work through, but I'm not complaining about playing home. I can tell you that.
From a scouting standpoint, I got to imagine that if you were to play a doubleheader, assuming you put everything in one site and you play doubleheaders, jack the price up to make sure everyone is happy. From a scouting standpoint, it makes perfect sense because, here's the one back problem with this, and it's the fact that while you're playing, so is every other team in Division II, so you're not going to have an opportunity to scout your opponent.
No, you won't. You won't, and that's going to be different now. But to be honest with you, this year everything has been on film anyways. So we've got enough time in between games to try to get caught up and prepare. When I look at to kind of double back on the question before about the tournament and stuff, I always look at it from a fan standpoint, not necessarily a coaching standpoint, because at this time of the year, you've got people that have been, have paid a lot of money and invested a lot of time going to high school games, and they want to see, some of these matchups that may not have occurred in the regular season. And I look at it as, if I was a fan, if I was a college scout, I would love to have, 4 schools at one site in an evening. Forget the scouting part of it, just for the experience and the environment for the fans and for the kids. But, to kind of finish up with this, I mean, everything has been on film this year anyway, so it won't really be much different. Now, if we were playing back-to-back nights, I might feel a little bit different about that, but, you got plenty of time to get ready.
You guys are, as I mentioned, you've had a very successful season, but this season has been, and you touched on it earlier in the interview, this season has been one that you're not allowed to bring a large amount of fans. And let's be honest. I mean, if the Wildcats are playing this good in a normal year, Struthers Fieldhouse is rocking. Struthers Fieldhouse is jam-packed to the rafters, and the basketball is just exciting as all get out. Now, it's not to say that it's not exciting, but very few people are able to go into the Fieldhouse to witness this very, very good basketball team. How strange has it been for you to play in a very sterile environment this year?
You know what? It was strange the first night when we opened up with Canfield, but you kind of get used to it pretty quickly. I'll be honest with you, we've had some environments where, the noise has been pretty good. Our Poland game at home, even though there was only a few people in here, both sides were very lively. I can remember when we played Fitch early in the year, there was some energy in the building there. But to answer your question, I mean, the opponents that we've had would have really led to some big crowds because of the followings that they have and some of the rivalries. Obviously, Poland goes without saying, but playing Canfield at home, East Liverpool at home, the JFK game, Lakeview, South, we would have had some really good crowds, and that's disappointing for the kids that they've kind of missed out on that environment. But, as coaches and players, everybody adjusts, and that was kind of the the feel all the way through it. It really didn't change from really a scrimmage. That's what a scrimmage feels like at times. With a little more noise, but we adjusted very quickly, and right now, it really, you don't even think about it, to be honest with you.
Coach, how important is it for your bench to get involved in being the cheering section for the kids on the floor, while at the same time making sure they know exactly what's going on, so when they go into the game, you're not losing much?
No, I mean, that's a tremendous point. In any given year, regardless of how many fans are in the building, whether it's sold out or not, your bench always has to have that positive energy. I mean, show me a bad bench, I'll show you a bad team. I mean, that's just the way it is. And you have to continually, reinforce those points and make sure that, on any given night, your bench is engaged. I mean, it's I've had conversations with my guys about it all year in various, different scenarios as far as, getting, when your number's called, some guys take forever and a day to get off the bench and get to the table. And we just don't have that time. And I look at it as, not being engaged in the game. So we do talk about that a lot. A healthy bench, a selfless bench is tremendously important if you're going to have any success in the long run.
I spoke with a coach years ago who said he would not only have his guy filming the game, he made damn sure the guy was opposite of the bench, and that he would every once in a while put the camera on the bench, and those that were not engaged in the game would get called out when the team was was going and breaking down the film. It was that important for the bench to be that involved in the game.
No, he's a wise man, whoever that is, because we've done the same thing. I mean, you can sit there and say to guys, oh, your body language on the bench wasn't great. You show them in front of everybody else, and you don't have to say a word. And a lot of times that's the best way to do it.
Mike Warnecki, the head basketball coach of the Struthers Wildcats, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Coach, I look at this team, and if I were to coach against you, I don't know where I would be able to start. And I say that because offensively, you guys are so tremendously balanced. You don't have this go-to guy. You got like 4 or 5 guys that can go off and score double digits on any given night. And to me, that's the most dangerous aspect of your team, the fact that you're so balanced that nobody can concentrate on one guy. So you have to throw out this, okay, we're going to play a box and 1, or we're going to play a triangle and 2 and shut down this guy. No, you can't do it against you guys because there's 4 or 5 guys that can score.
Well, I mean, one of the things that I've always taken pride in, or at least taken notice of, is the balance of our points. And here's a couple. I've had 7 different guys this year lead us in scoring. And the guys that have started the games the majority of the year, those 5 guys average between 9.5 and 14.5 points a game. So the balance of it for me is very important. I've never been one to just sit there and say, if I have a guy that averages 20, and then everybody else is averaging 8 and 7 and 6, I got a bunch of unhappy guys. Now, that can work against you at times too, because I've got some good players who in other situations could obviously be averaging more than what they're averaging, but you try to hammer the message home that that type of balance and that type of unselfishness leads to winning. And I'm very proud of the fact that we have that balance and really that we've had 7 different guys lead us in scoring.
Here's the other reason why I think it works come postseason time. I mean, let's be honest. When you have a team that has 1 or 2 scorers and a bunch of kids that really don't shoot the ball very well and they just rely on these 2 kids to do the scoring, well, come tournament time, if these 2 kids go cold, you're screwed. I mean, you're done. Your season's over. It's so much easier for a basketball team that has balance, where 4, 5, 6 guys can take the ball to the rack and score some points. Because, okay, if 1 or 2 of those kids get cold, you still have 3 or 4 other guys that can pick up the slack. In other words, it's going to be a whole lot more difficult for a team that has 5 or 6 guys that's able to go anywhere from 7.5 to 14.5 points to all be cold at once. That's gonna be a rarity, where if you have 1 or 2 guys, the chances are that 1 or 2 guys going cold is a heck of a lot more frequent than 5 or 6 guys going cold.
No, and you're right about that. And to kind of piggyback on that, the one thing I do have is I've got the option or the ability with multiple guys to be able to go to the post. And that in tournament time, for me, that's the benchmark, because if you can get to the paint with the ball and not just rely on jump shots, I think you have a better chance to kind of move along and get to the next round. But the one thing I will say about we've talked about offense. Our everything with us starts and ends with our defense. All of our offense comes off of our defense, and the thing that I've been the most proud about this year is some of our defensive performances, especially in games when we've really needed to and when it's really mattered. I think our defense has been, at least this year, it's been the best that it's been at any moment since I've been here at Struthers.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of your final scores. Let's see. You hold Canfield to 51. You hold Fitch to 52. South Range to 33. Liverpool to 44. Aquinas to 50. Perry to 49. Jefferson area to 51. I had a rule that any time a team gave up more than 55 points in a game, they owed me a suicide for every point that they gave up past 55. And I'm looking at your schedule, Coach. your kids would not be running a suicide. I take that back. They would owe me 2 suicides right now for the whole damn year.
No, like I said, I mean, I've challenged them and on the defensive end more than anything because, a lot of times when you have as many guys that are capable of scoring as we do, you can't get each guy enough shots just in the half court offensively. You have to create opportunities defensively for guys to get, more possessions and more opportunities. And that's what we've done. But like I said, some of our best defensive performances have come in the most meaningful games and the most meaningful times.
Listen, I know that coaches are not geared to talk about things down the road. They're more concerned with the here and now, and obviously your last league game and your last home game, or at least I should say your last home league game is tonight against Lakeview. Next week you'll play, or I should say tomorrow night you'll play Howland, and then next Friday night you have McDonald, which will be a heck of a good game at the Field House. The Division II tournament and the tournament where you guys are going to be playing, woo, man, this is Division II is crazy. And I think that both tournaments are going to be an awful lot of fun. Talk about the talent that's in your district, Coach.
Well, I'll start with the last 3 games we have. Tonight's going to be a very, very big challenge for us. Lakeview played us extremely tight up there, and they are shooting the heck out of the basketball as well as any team in the area. And we're not ready to play tonight. It's going to be a tough night. Howland, unfortunately, their best player's been hurt, and I'm not sure what his status is for tomorrow, but they're a much better basketball team than what their record indicates. And then next Friday, like you hinted, the McDonald game, they very well could be undefeated coming in here, and Jimmy does a tremendous job. That team, a lot of people thought they were going to have a little bit of a fall off after the tremendously talented Brazil left, and father and son, I might add. But Jimmy's picked up the mantle, and he's really turned it up this year, and they've had an unbelievable year. He does a hell of a job with his group. But the tournament itself is a Division II level. If it was your typical Boardman bracket, it would be insane. You use the word crazy. I say crazy good because, with how good Ursuline is and how well East is playing, and obviously Cheney speaks for itself, and Poland getting the number 2 seed in our district, and like I talked about Lakeview already, and then you have West Branch, who's tremendous and very well. I mean, our bracket would be insane. It's a little different that it's spread out with 26 teams, but nonetheless, the teams that have given me the most problems the last couple years are still in my side, meaning obviously, take Poland and Cheney out of the mix because Cheney beat us last year and Poland's beaten us almost every time we played them. But, Ursuline and the East on my side, we were fortunate enough to come away with wins against those 2 programs last year in the tournament. And, we won't have to play them. Well, we could end up playing them both just like we did last year. We played East last year. And you asked me earlier about not taking the bye. We had the bye last year, and our first game was against East. And sitting on practice time for a week while they were playing was very difficult, and that was a very tight game for us. It's one of the reasons why I didn't take the bye. Players want to play this time of the year, and, I'm no different. And, we anticipate a tough game with East if that's how it plays out. If we're forced, look, we got to beat Niles first, and I would not, if I had to pick a team, it wouldn't be Niles to play in the first round. If you go back and look at our games, they play us extremely tight. As a matter of fact, last year, we squeaked out of Niles with a 1-point win. Coach Foster does a great job of keeping every game competitive, and I don't expect anything different next Tuesday. But our bracket is really good. I mean, we've got to play a Perry team possibly who, we had to go up there and play. He was very good. So, I mean, there's just everywhere you turn around, there's just really good teams.
Oh, there's no question. And there's 2 teams that you normally would not see in the Boardman district that are in this. And honest to God, I think the game of the first round is going to be Streetsboro and Youngstown East. And not many people know about the Rockets. Let me tell you, Streetsboro is a legit basketball team. and Youngstown East is going to give them a whale of a game. And then you got Canton South that coming out of the same league as West Branch and Salem and Carrollton and the like over there. Canton South plays some solid basketball, and that's in your half of the bracket. And then in the other half, as you mentioned, you got Ursuline, you got Canfield, you got Perry. It's even though the two districts are separate, my goodness, there's just as much talent in your bracket as there is in the other bracket.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, because of the pandemic, the records are so unbalanced on some of the teams as far as how many games they've been able to play. So you really don't know, how good some of the teams are because they haven't had an opportunity to kind of round into form. Well, now everybody's making up games, and some of these teams are going to be playing, 3 and 4 games in a week, and they're going to get up to speed really quick. Canton South, who you mentioned, they got a really good record. I mean, I think they're like 13-3. So, I mean, they're going to be a tough out for everybody that plays them, the rest of the way through. And obviously Canfield is really good. I mean, we played them a tight game early in the year. And then, Ursuline speaks for themselves. I mean, they've had a tremendous year start to finish. I mean, since, they had a couple losses right at the beginning of the year, but they had kids out with COVID. Since they've gotten their kids back, they've been almost unbeatable. So, it's going to be a lot of fun watching how this bracket kind of forms and shapes and works its way through.
Coach, before we let you go, you made the decision to play one game next week, given the fact that you're going to be playing a tournament game the following Tuesday, so that would be 4 days later. Is that by design that you want to play the one final game next Friday so you don't have to have your kids go 2-3 games a week? And then let me back up and say, what if you guys were 16, 17 games into the season instead of 20 games into the season going into the last week? I have to imagine that you would still play only one game and then get ready for Tuesday instead of wearing your kids out potentially and then playing a game 4 days after your final game.
Well, I'll be honest with you. We were scheduled to play on Tuesday. Originally, we were scheduled to play Southern Local on Tuesday. And when they shut down a couple weeks ago, they canceled the game because they were like, that last week we've got league games to make up and we just can't make it happen. And because it was a Tuesday night, it was virtually impossible to find a team that wasn't playing on Tuesday night. And then you get to the last week of the season, a lot of teams didn't want to come in and play on a Monday or a Wednesday. So, I did not want to not play on Tuesday. As a matter of fact, when that game canceled, that's where the JFK game came in. And I've tried to move games to that Monday or Wednesday or Tuesday, and we weren't able to do it. So it wasn't by design. That we're not playing on Tuesday. I'll let you know how it plays out. I'm not really excited about having another, week off in between practices because tonight, we haven't played since last Friday. So, you're going a week without playing and then you play 2 quick ones back to back and then you go almost another week without playing. In late February, that's not always fun to do, but, we'll make it work. But, we tried to play that day. So, we'll see how it plays out.
Hey, best of luck to you tonight against Lakeview, tomorrow night against Howland, through the rest of the season. I look forward to seeing what this team can do come tournament time, Coach.
No, I appreciate it, and obviously, you guys have been, I've said this to everybody, you guys have been such a service to everybody in the Valley this year with how much coverage you guys have given, not only the boys programs, but the girls program, whether it be, interviewing coaches, and especially the ability for everybody to watch these games at no cost, on YSN. So I for everybody, I thank you. It really has helped the year be something special. I've watched more games at the high school level just on YSN this year than I ever would because of the way the format was set up. So thank you to that, and hopefully we're able to stay fortunate and finish the year on the floor and see where it takes us. But thank you for everything.
Have you guys been able to use the games as a scouting tool?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I've gone back and purchased a bunch of different games to go back and watch. It's definitely been a resource. Obviously, if it's a Saturday night and we're not playing, I'll be sitting there flipping through, 3 or 4 multiple games. But if I need to go back, it's great to have the resource to be able to go back with all these games archived and kind of see. You don't necessarily have to watch the whole game, but you get to see, this team does this. I want to see how this team attacks that. So it really allows you in a very quick manner to go back and take a look.
Hey, Coach, best of luck to you tonight and through the rest of the regular season.
Thank you very much. God bless.
You got it. Mike Wernicke, the head basketball coach of the Struthers Wildcats, calling in on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. And look, the fact that they're going to be able to get 21 games in, man, that's absolutely amazing. That any school, if you're able to get your whole season in, 21 games, 20 games, hell, if you can get 18 games in the pandemic that has completely altered this basketball season in so many different ways. Absolutely phenomenal. All right, we're going to take a timeout. On the other side, we will hear from the head basketball coach of the Springfield Tigers, Steve French. He'll join me coming up next. Stick around. It's a Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Hi, this is Jim Myers with Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Let's get to the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline where we find the head basketball coach of the Springfield Tigers, Steve French. Coach French, how are you today, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thank you very much for taking some time out of your busy schedule. You know, I know that you guys had hit a stretch where you lost 3 out of 4 in late December to about mid-January. But since then, you've won 4 consecutive games, actually 5 consecutive games, and you take on an undefeated McDonald team tonight, a team that got you guys up in their place by 3 points. Man, great game tonight, great atmosphere, hopefully, as great as it can be without people. And hopefully a great game tonight.
Yeah, we're really excited, looking forward to it. McDonald's had a fantastic season, and you mentioned that game being real close the first time, and we're hoping we could maybe even the score tonight. But yeah, you got to be excited anytime a team as good as McDonald comes into your gym, 18-0, Friday night game of the week. Nothing's better than that.
What did you learn from playing McDonald the first time around?
You watch them on tape and they play well. I mean, they shoot the ball so well and they're very balanced. A lot of their other guys kind of hurt us, especially in the fourth quarter. That are good players. Guys like Eli Street, Dominic Carquito, and Miles Culpin and Jake Porterlees get a lot of headlines. But those guys have made a lot of plays in some games from the Waterloo game. Carquito made a lot of plays down the stretch. So, a lot of those guys are really good players, and they played really well together. So it's going to take a good effort to kind of slow everybody down, and all five guys have to be engaged on defense for us tonight.
Now, obviously, McDonald through the years has just been an unbelievably talented basketball team. When Coach Brazil was there, and now with Coach Francis Shelley, they're just as dominant. But I got to ask, in the last 3 or 4 years, when Zach Brazil was in a McDonald uniform, they had the tremendous success, but Brazil was a guy that was getting his 25, 30, 35, 40 points a night, and it seemed like the rest of the players, they didn't get a lot of points. And I guess my point in all of this is this year's McDonald team more difficult to deal with from a defensive standpoint because of their balance?
I think it all depends if you had a guy that you felt could guard Zach or not, right? If you felt like you could guard him, other guys could help, and you feel pretty good about it. If you don't have a guy that can guard him, he was pretty tough. I mean, I've never seen a kid shoot the ball like he could. But this year's team is definitely tough, just because, like I highlighted, those other guys make shots, and they play with speed, they play with good spacing, and they can shoot the ball. And in today's basketball environment, those three things you have to have, I think, to score at a high level, and they can certainly do that. So I don't know if it's harder, but it's not easier. I mean, it's not an easy task.
And then when you throw in the fact that they have their full court press defense, that has been a staple of McDonald basketball, that kind of makes things tough for the offense.
Yeah, there's a pace they want to play at, and you have to be comfortable with that pace. I think thankfully we're a team that likes to play at that pace. We don't always press every game like they might, but we're pretty good playing fast. So, we're all right with the press, and if the score's in the high 70s, the 80s, that's okay with us.
Let's talk a little bit about your offense. I mean, it's balanced. I mean, there's a ton of kids that you can see these kids getting double digits on any particular night. I mean, you've got tremendous athletes and some solid talent, some height, some girth. It's a very well balanced basketball team on both ends of the floor.
Yes, yeah, all five of our starters average in double figures. So anytime you have that, it's tough for the teams to really key on one guy. And I don't know if we have a guy that's going to go score 30 on any given night, but we have a lot of guys that can go get 15 or 20 any night. And when you have balance like that, it's tough to stop.
How good is the Scarlet Tier of the Mahoning Valley Athletic Conference in terms of preparing the Springfield Tigers for the Division III tournament?
I think over the last 3 years, really, and then including this year, so four years including this year, it's been tremendous. I mean, there's, you look at some of the teams. That Waterloo team last year was incredible. I thought they could have got out and went to state if they'd have got a chance to play that, regional final game. And, McDonald's, great teams they had with Zach and other guys, Braden Poole while he was there. Sebring was really good for their size in Division IV, and Western Reserve had a good run there when they had a ton of seniors. So, our league is really good. I mean, the other night on Tuesday we played Mineral Ridge, and we beat them, and turn around on Wednesday and they play Hubbard. And no offense to Hubbard, but Mineral Ridge won by 12, and then I think Mineral Ridge might be third from the bottom in our league. They're like 4-7, and so Mineral Ridge is a good sized Division II school. So. Hubbard's a good-sized Division II school. So, we've got some teams in our league that can really play. Jackson Milton's solid this year. Waterloo's still good. Obviously, McDonald 18-0. So, It's been really good in terms of boys and girls basketball the last few seasons.
Coach, I love what you guys did in the non-conference portion of your schedule. Now, obviously, much like every other team in the Mahoning Valley, you had to scramble, but I love the fact that you were able to put Salem on the schedule, a pretty decent Crestview team on the schedule, South Range, which is a rival, even though you're no longer in the same league, a very, very good Ursuline team. Hell, you even played Poland. I mean, that's a tremendous non-conference schedule.
Yeah, and my thing is everybody makes the playoffs in boys basketball, so I don't see any reason not to challenge yourself. With a non-conference schedule, and we played some really good teams. We played Neshannock last year. We were scheduled to play Sharon this year until all the stuff with PA being shut down happened. South Range, they're always good. That Poland game, we were missing Clay and Bo for a while. They both didn't play in that game. We win that game in 5 overtimes. That builds a lot of confidence for some of the guys that maybe don't start, and are coming off the bench. And Ursuline, we were missing guys, and we only lost by 1. So, we had some really good battles with those teams, and it's good to have good non-conference opponents on your schedule.
Well, and it certainly propelled you to the top seed in the D3 district tournaments, and obviously it'll serve you well come tournament time, playing that caliber of competition.
Absolutely, yeah. You have to test yourself. I mean, you can't get to the end of the year and try to, you take a loss in the tournament and you find out what you should have been working on that you could have figured out in December or January. Those losses and tough games kind of expose some weaknesses, and we want to find out what those are and work on those as early as we can and try to be the best team we can come tournament time.
Steve French, the head basketball coach of the Springfield Tigers, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. I got off the phone with Mike Warnecki a couple of minutes ago, and, I asked him early in the interview, and I'll ask you, Coach, I'm sure that everyone is now getting used to the fact that there's not a lot of fans in the auditorium and in the gymnasium, but I mean, still, it's got to be somewhat deflating knowing that as good as you guys have played this year, as well as I do, a game against McDonald, game of the week, best game on the docket. It's a sellout crowd tonight at Springfield High School. There's no two ways about it. And unfortunately, because of COVID, you're only going to get a sparse crowd.
Yeah, our fan support has been tremendous the last few seasons. And I know they watch on YSN, and, we greatly appreciate you guys covering everybody all year. It's been awesome. But, I was just talking with our athletic director, Mr. Carden, the other day about this with the tournament upcoming. There's a lot of folks in our community that, whether they have a child in the school district currently or not, they go to every football game. They go to every basketball game. They go to tournament baseball, softball games, what have you. They support Springfield athletics. And that's, we feel bad for the kids not having their full family there, and you can't have a student section. But I also feel bad for those people in the community that just, love that small town sport of whatever town they live in, and they can't be there and they have to watch online. That's tough. But I know, there's Tigers Table in our community there in New Middletown. They show the games, and they get some good crowds, and that's been nice for them, for their business, and we appreciate that. So that's kind of been a gathering place for Springfield folks. But, yeah, it's tough, but I think the kids have gotten used to it. They kind of got used to it through football, and they played a lot of games there, and hopefully we can have a nice tournament run like that in basketball. And, it is what it is. You have to deal with it.
Coach, how important is it to have the entire community behind your athletic program, whether it be boys basketball, girls basketball, as you mentioned, the football program, the baseball program, the softball program, all sports? It seems like the New Middletown and Tiger Nation is just, they love the Springfield Tigers, and it's rare to see an entire town get behind their school. How important is it for your program and for Springfield High School in general?
Oh, it's very important. And it starts with great leadership. It starts at the top with our superintendent, Mr. Yazbak. He's a tremendous leader for our community, loves Springfield. And academics are very important, but athletics are also very important. He understands the total picture of a school and a community and how athletics play in that. And not all superintendents do, and he supports us. And, we have tremendous administration. I would mention Mr. Carden, Mr. DeFelice. He's a big basketball guy. And, just the kids really appreciate it. They know how lucky they are. They know how blessed they are to live in a community that, cheers you on and knows your name and wants to see you succeed. And I think it's just awesome for them to grow up and have that experience. And, New Middletown is a special place, and they love their Tigers, and we're happy to have them with us behind their back.
Coach, you have 15 games into this season. You're playing McDonald tonight. Next week, what are you guys looking at? Are you going to play 2 or 3 games next week?
Well, we're trying to get our league schedule in, so we have 3 league games next week. We play Western Reserve on Tuesday, Waterloo on Friday, and then Sebring on Saturday. So those will be our last 3 regular season games. They're all league games for us. And with a lot of schools in our league being in Trumbull County, and then we had a little shutdown there for about 10 days just a little while back. So between both things, some of the league games got pushed back, and we had some good non-conference games scheduled for the end of the year. We always play Girard, we play LeBray, but of course, they've had their own COVID issues, so those got canceled. But yeah, we're just trying to get the league schedule in and compete for that league title.
3 games next week, and then you start the tournaments. Now, I know you guys have taken the bye. You will play on Friday night, 1 week from Friday. You will, actually 2 weeks from today, you will play the winner of the Camel and Cardinal game 2 weeks from today. 3 games next week. Are you going to be all rested up, ready to go on Friday?
Yeah, no, I think so. Like I said, we just had a little stretch there where, we practiced on Monday, but before that we were off for about 10 days. We hadn't played a game since 2 Tuesdays prior. So, yeah, we were off for a while, and, we practiced one day and came back with Mineral Ridge. But, yeah, we'll be rested. We'll be ready to go. Our kids do a good job taking care of their bodies and, making sure that they're good to go. But, yeah, we kind of got over some of the injuries we had, and I think guys are fresh. A lot of the football guys were removed from that season far enough now, and they've had some time to recoup. And, yeah, I feel good. We've had 2 great days of practice the last 2 days, probably the 2 best days we've had all year. So, yeah, we're excited to see how this stretch run turns out.
Give me one word to describe the 2020-2021 season.
Unpredictable. I think it's, and unfortunately, I think we're coming to maybe the most unpredictable part. You're starting to see with the girls, where, a girls team gets shut down with COVID, and then the next line of, the tweet or whatever, or the article is, and their season's over. The sectional tournament's over. You're going to see teams, I don't know who or where, but they're gonna miss significant playoff games, district, maybe regionals, hopefully not state, but you saw it in football, and you're going to see it in basketball, where kids are going to test positive, and seasons are going to end, because of COVID. And, you want to be safe, but, you also want to see things through and hope everybody gets the opportunities that they've earned. And, you don't want to see anybody get shut down. So just been unpredictable. You never know when, your schedule or season can change or end at a moment's notice. So, I would say unpredictable is that word for this year.
Anthony Hardwig and he comes in and helps me out Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We both said this during football season. This academic school year, this athletic school year, it's unfair. And the unfairness was due to COVID. I mean, and you, for all the points that you just mentioned, God forbid something happens this coming tournament season where a team suddenly gets a couple of kids with COVID, and through no fault of their own, hey, sorry, your season is over. You're not going to get a do-over in this. And you hope and pray that this doesn't happen come tournament time. But, Coach, you and I both know it happened in the fall. It cost a 3 seed in the Cleveland area a season where, one or two kids tested positive, their season is over, and they had terrific promise. And it's so unfair, yet unfortunately this is the time in which we're living, where COVID is in fact unfair.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned football. Menor, they were poised, I think, to make it to the state title game, and they had kids, including their quarterback, who was fantastic, miss not because of even testing positive, just because of contact tracing from going to school. And when you got kids doing the right thing and going to school, and then you end up sitting next to someone in a class, and then they test positive. Once again, you got to quarantine and be safe. But it's a tough pill to swallow, especially when you've done all the right things, right? You wear your mask, you stay distance, you're staying at home. If you're not in school or at practice, and your season can end like that, especially for seniors, that's tough. So, like I said, hopefully that keeps to a minimum, and we can, we can all make it through. But I've kind of been surprised. I thought around the holidays it would be bad locally, but it really wasn't. But it's been after that. It's been late January into early February. It seems like so many teams have been shut down, and it's just unfortunate. And you're right, it is unfair.
Coach, before we let you go, a couple of things. Obviously, it's no secret. Springfield's football team, they were incredibly successful this year, a second consecutive journey to the state championship game. It's also no secret you have a lot of kids from the football team playing basketball. When you go into the tournament, how comforting is it for you as a coach to know that a lot of your kids have experienced that tournament feel and were quite successful in that tournament field, knowing how important a win or go home scenario is? How big of an advantage is that going to be for you as a basketball coach?
Oh, it's huge. And it's really been for the last 3 years now. I mean, our baseball team has made 2 regional appearances. Our basketball guys, last year we lost in a very close district final game. The year prior, we lost basically right at the end of the game in a regional final game. So they've been in some big moments there. And, of course, the football runs with both state finals appearances. So when you get in these big games, and used to be the stands were packed, not so much now, but, and you have that nervousness and that pressure, it is comforting to know, hey, I've been here before. I can handle this, and I just need to go out and do my job and execute, the game plan. And it's nice to know that the kids have that experience as a coach, and I think it's nice for the kids just to settle them down, and it's comforting. We want to be in these big games. We're excited about games like tonight, Game of the Week on TV, 18-0. All that stuff is an exciting opportunity for us.
What is the one thing that you guys need to do differently tonight than the first meeting up in McDonald in order for Springfield to get the victory tonight?
I think we just have to execute. I mean, that game in McDonald, 2 to 3 minutes ago, I don't know the exact time, but we're up 8. I mean, it's over. And, we missed some front ends of 1-on-1s. We turned it over a couple times. They shot 86% in the fourth quarter and, hit a shot that I guess you could say it's at the buzzer. But, and that's it. It's over. And, they executed better than we did down the stretch without a doubt. So we just have to execute, take care of the ball. And, you got to make your free throws and not turn it over if you want to win against good teams. We didn't do that the first time. Hopefully we can do that tonight and close it out.
Coach, best of luck to you tonight through the rest of the regular season, and hopefully we'll catch up before the tournament.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you very much.
You got it, sir. Steve French, the head basketball coach of the Springfield Tigers, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. And, again, much like Struthers, Springfield will be getting in a high majority of their games. More importantly, they're going to get in their entire league schedule, which I think is fantastic. They took the bye, so they play 3 games this coming week. Then they'll be off until 2 weeks from tonight. 2 weeks from tonight, they will be playing a sectional title game, and we'll see. We'll see where Springfield goes with this. It's going to be a hell of a game tonight in McDonald between Springfield and McDonald from Springfield High School. The Tigers taking on the Blue Devils. Speaking of the Blue Devils, Jimmy Francis Shelley, the head basketball coach of the McDonald Blue Devils, will be calling in at about 1:15. We'll get his take on this particular game, as well as the season that is the great season that is unfolding at McDonald. Excuse me. Again, the Blue Devils taking on the Tigers tonight. You'll see the game on ysnlive.com, and I'm sure that Mike Ackelson and the fellas at headquarters will be all over the coverage of the Tigers and McDonald Blue Devils game from Springfield High School tonight. You can watch Open Look tonight. WRS Wealth Advisors, the corporate sponsor for Open Look. Mike Ackelson and the fellas will be updating you on all of the games that we have on the network tonight, and there are plenty of games on the network tonight. We will actually run through the list of games that we have on the network tonight, and we'll also welcome in the head basketball coach of the McDonald Blue Devils, Jimmy Francis Shelley. That's all coming up in a bit. It is a Friday edition of Running Points. Running Point presented Monday through Friday from noon to 3 on ysnlive.com, and it's presented in part by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. We're back in a bit. Stick around.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Right now is a great time to get more for your trade-in at Tri-State Ford and drive home in a new or pre-owned vehicle. Choose from our great selection of new Ford models or pre-owned vehicles. Plus, get the Tri-State Ford Advantage, including a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty and more. At Tri-State Ford, we'll pay you top dollar for your trade, but you don't have to purchase one of ours to sell us yours.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Ron Potesta with you. On the network tonight, we get a JV game beginning at 5:30 in Edison as Buckeye Local will venture to Edison to take on the Wildcats. Speaking of Wildcats, the Struthers Wildcats will welcome Lakeview to the iconic Fieldhouse. That game begins at 6:45. Here are your 7 o'clock games, and again, give or take a couple of minutes depending on how fast or how slow the junior varsity game is at 5:30. Here are your 7 o'clock games tonight. Crestview is at Brookfield. Lisbon at Columbiana, Buckeye Local at Edison, Western Reserve will venture to Lowellville, Warren JFK goes to Niles, West Branch goes to Salem, Mineral Ridge is at Sebring, McDonald at Springfield, Leetonia at United, Cheney will venture to Wick Avenue in Youngstown to take on Ursuline, and East will take on Cardinal Mooney from the south end of the city. Those are all the games that are scheduled for tonight on the network. And, if you are going to watch any of those games, you go to the school that you're interested in. Go to ysnlive.com/your school. So if you're let's say you're a United fan, you would go to ysnlive.com/United. About 7 o'clock, there's the game for you. If you're wanting to check out Open Look, go to ysnlive.com/Open Look. Open Look presented every Friday night by the good folks at WRS Wealth Advisors. Now, I know that this is normally a day in which we're talking about boys basketball, but certainly we got to give a shout out to the East Palestine Bulldogs. Last night, the East Palestine Bulldogs knocked off United, and East Palestine is going to bring home their first EOAC championship banner. Congratulations to the East Palestine Bulldogs, as the girls basketball team, they jump in and they take care of business as they beat United last night. And congratulations to them. East Palestine is your EOAC league champion in girls basketball this year. And congratulations. And it's been a very trying year for everyone, but especially for schools like East Palestine that have been hit not once but multiple times because of COVID. Those schools, it just any team that is dealing with COVID. Now, obviously, this season has just been a season of a lot of things that, frankly, aren't fair, and we've made mention of this. Fair is thrown out the window when you're dealing with COVID. But for the teams that have had to deal with COVID multiple times, my goodness, it is. It's been tough. It's been extremely, extremely difficult, and my hat is off to the kids at East Palestine. They got the job done, and unbelievable. That they're able to celebrate an EOAC championship. Congratulations to the East Palestine Lady Bulldogs, and best of luck in the upcoming tournament. East Palestine knocking off United last night to win the EOAC championship. And even though they have not played nearly as many games as most of the teams in the Mahoning Valley, and an unbelievable accomplishment. Congratulations to them. Speaking of accomplishments, McDonald 18-0 on the campaign. They will be taking on 12-3 Springfield tonight. And then, believe it or not, they're going to be able to have a complete 22-game season. This is a team out of Trumbull County, and everyone knows in Trumbull County, the entire month of December, most of December, the Trumbull County Health Board shut down Trumbull County and said, look, you're not allowed to play basketball until, I believe, the 21st. They lifted the ban. McDonald got onto the basketball floor and started playing basketball on Wednesday, the 23rd of December, 2 days before Christmas. And then 6 days after, 4 days after Christmas, they got back on the floor, went to Salem, and started a season in which, knock on wood, and hopefully nothing bad happens between now and next Friday, knock on wood, McDonald is poised to play an entire 22-game schedule. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. They have Springfield tonight at Springfield. Tomorrow night, they will be home to St. Thomas Aquinas, a solid Division IV team, don't you know. They'll go to McDonald, come back home on Tuesday, and play Lowellville. And then next Friday night, they'll be at the iconic Fieldhouse taking on the Struthers Wildcats before opening up their tournament 1 week from Tuesday against Bloomfield. So the Wildcats, the McDonald Blue Devils, 18-0 on the campaign. They will hopefully, barring any disasters between now and next Friday, McDonald should be closing out their regular season, playing an entire 22-game schedule. And when you consider the fact that McDonald did not start playing basketball until December 23rd, that is an amazing accomplishment in and of itself. And, oh, by the way, McDonald's 18-0 on the campaign as well. Just wanted to throw that in there as well. Not only are they poised to play every single game, they're 18-0, by the way. They take on a very good Springfield team tonight in Springfield. The Tigers 12-3, McDonald 18-0. And let's go to the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline, where we find the head basketball coach of the McDonald Blue Devils, Jimmy Francis Shelley. Coach, how are you today, sir?
Good, Ron. How are you?
I'm doing well. I mean, look, I'm not smiling nearly as much as you are. I mean, Coach, I just got done saying how incredibly impressive. Forget about the wins and losses for a second. How incredibly impressive it is for a basketball team to start their season on December the 23rd. And you're going to be able, knock on wood, and hopefully with no more outbreaks, by next Friday night, you will have played 22 games, the normal 22-game season. That is an unbelievable accomplishment, Coach.
Ron, you know, it's a credit to our administration and our ADs, Josh Crumpack and Randy Riccatelli, and us working together. And, you know, like I heard you say before I came on about, you know, we didn't practice till December 22nd, that Tuesday. And then we played our first game Wednesday the 23rd against Valley Christian. And I don't know if we've had a break since then. So to be able to line up these games, and we've had some teams drop out because of quarantine, pick up more games like you were talking about tomorrow night, St. Thomas Aquinas coming. That's a game we just added in the last couple of weeks. So we had a goal in mind as a staff and as an administration, and that was to get our kids a full season one way or another.
Mission accomplished. Congratulations on that, Coach. And look, I mean, obviously, this is your first year as the head coach. Now, thankfully, you had been Coach Brazil's assistant, so it's not like you had to come in cold and not know who your players are, not know your what kind of changes, if any, you're going to make. I mean, if you had gone to a completely different school and you didn't know your players, and you were in a completely different position from where you were last year, would you have been able to pull this off, Coach?
You know, Ron, I don't know. That's a tough question. Probably not, honestly. But with that said, you know, we played, usually we have 7 seniors. Only 3 of those guys played for us last year. So, you know, we got 4 new guys. And during the break early in the summer when we weren't able to do much and the gym was closed, that's when we did a lot of our bonding and Zoom meetings and getting to know each other. So it was different getting to know these guys before we ever stepped on the court. And I think that has really carried over to now in trusting each other and all that. But like you said, me being with Coach Brazil the last 2 years, and it was a smooth transition, and being able to, you know, we talked about all year is continuing this tradition that he set and many people before him have set with the McDonald programs in the community.
You know, Coach, you brought up something that was so very important and so very underrated, and that's the bonding moments away from the basketball floor and the Zoom meetings. without giving anything away, what were some of the things that you guys did during the Zoom meetings that bonded everyone together?
Ron, we talked before, and you knew some of my personal issues that I went through, and I'm open about it with my guys and with everybody. And what we did was in our Zoom meetings, half of them were about basketball stuff, and the other half were about life experiences. And we got to bring some guys on and talk about their lives, basketball related, non-basketball. Luke Wallet was one of those guys, played in the NFL, a good friend of mine, and I got to coach against him. And then we got to bring on someone like Eric Devendorf from Syracuse, played in one of the most memorable college basketball games of my time, 6 overtime game there. And he talked more about life and building that culture. And Ron, that's what I'm about. I really am. My family means so much to me, and these guys mean so much to us. We just try to create that family culture and get these guys to buy into what we're doing.
The culture, and it's so important in McDonald. Look, I graduated from a small school similar to McDonald, and in a lot of ways similar, and in a lot of ways worlds apart. McDonald community is a community that, much like Springfield, they back their school. They back everything about the McDonald school. But what makes McDonald so special is the fact that McDonald has done a tremendous job in all sports of making sure that it's not just high school. You got to go all the way down into the elementary school and get those kids involved in extracurricular activities and start the culture way, 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 way down the road from high school and get these kids to buy into everything. So when they come closer and closer to high school, they're going to be ready to carry that torch from the recent graduates.
Absolutely, Rod. And that's what we stress that so much in our program. And we do, we'll be starting back up here next week, actually. We do a kindergarten through second grade on Saturday mornings. And then we do our third, fourth, fifth, sixth, Monday through Thursday. It's so important to our program. And I get involved as much as I can. Normally I would be more involved, but with the COVID and that, I just pop in here and there. And I got great guys that back me and run it. And it's so important to our culture and our program for this to go on. And at McDonald, one of the things that I love is, we share so many players throughout sports. We really do. And like with Coach Williams in football and Coach Dimitrovic in Roop and cross country and all those guys, we get along, and it means sharing players is huge in a small school, like you're saying. So I support their program, they support ours, and that's the big thing going forward here that we got to continue to do to succeed where we're at.
One of the other things that impresses me so much about McDonald, there isn't anyone in the coaching fraternity in McDonald that is hell-bent on making their player a one-sport athlete. And I think that is so incredibly important for the success of a small-town school like McDonald.
Yeah, I mean, Ron, I think I have one player that's a basketball-only guy. So that's a major varsity player right now, and that's Jake Portalese. Other than that, every one of my guys does something else. Eli Street, cross country, state. Dominic Shadle, Caden Crown, Dominic Carquito, played football. I mean, they've been that success with Danny over in that program. Anthony Ragazzi and Michael Porter and Matthew Porter, huge golfers. I mean, tons of success. That stuff just translates. And we talked about from the beginning, Ron, we had one goal in mind. That was just to continue what's been in front of us. So I credit my staff for that and buying in and making these kids realize that we're here for the same reasons they are. We want to continue to win and get them ready for life, what's forward after the basketball.
Coach, I love your non-conference schedule. I have pounded the point home year after year after year whenever a basketball season rolls around that, it's one thing to have an impressive season, but it's another thing to have an impressive season with a loaded non-conference schedule. And look, we've talked about the scarlet tier of the Mahoning Valley Athletic Conference. You got to deal with Waterloo. You got to deal with Springfield. You got to deal with Lowellville, Western Reserve, and Sebring, when they have good years, they're tough nuts to crack. But your non-conference schedule, a really good Valley Christian team, a very good Division II program in Salem, a very good D3 program in Garrettsville, Garfield, Bristol, who year in, year out is a solid Division IV program. You're going to be taking on arguably the best team, other than yourselves, arguably the best team in the area in Struthers before the season comes to an end. My God, are you guys going to be prepared? Not to mention St. Thomas Aquinas, which is another quality Division IV program. You guys are going to be prepared more than you'll know for this upcoming tournament.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about. You know, these next 4 games, like you said at the beginning of the year, for us to even be talking about playing a full schedule, 22 games, is crazy. It really is. And, you know, we had a couple, like last week, Ron, we play Friday night, Saturday night, we practice Sunday, and we played Monday, Tuesday. I mean, 4 games in 5 days. And then we come back and play Friday, Saturday this weekend, and Tuesday, Friday. I mean, it's been nonstop. I've had a lot of people ask me, were you trying to prepare for an NBA schedule? What's going on? So, you know, it is a credit to everybody that's been involved in this to get us tournament ready. And bottom line is, I don't think we're scared to play anybody, Ron. We're really not. Win or lose, you know, these games are going to prepare us for the next few weeks going forward. I'm so excited about tonight. Coach French and those guys, it's going to be unbelievable going over there. These are the games of the coach you live for. He does an unbelievable job. I've had the chance to go against him when I was at Struthers. He was at Jefferson. We had battles. This year we had another one. Those guys are, listen, I respect their program. I respect him. And I respect their players. And same with everybody in our league. I really do. And, Ron, you know I'm excited about next Friday. Coach Wernicke's my man. There was a lot of people that for a while thought there was some bad blood between us. Never has been. We hang out outside of basketball more than people want to believe. I can't wait to see him next Friday. Good thing is, though, I get to see him tomorrow morning since our sons play youth basketball together. So it's going to be, you know, Ron, going back to Struthers next Friday, it's going to be emotional for me and my family. My parents live there. I teach there. That school and program has meant so much to me in my life. You know that. We've talked before. So it'll be emotional going back to the field house. But it's not about me at all next Friday. It's about those guys on the court, our team and their team, and the success we've both had, and going to be able to leave it all out there next Friday. So I can't thank Pete and the administration at Struthers for all they did for me, and now Kevin and our administration for backing us through this year and getting us to where we are. I couldn't be more excited, and I thank God for all of it, Ron.
Coach, I got to ask. I mean, obviously, your Struthers background is legendary, and I say that in all seriousness. You look at the tournament and how it has been set up for this year, and I don't know if it's going to be permanent or not. This is going to be something that the OHSAA and the Northeast Board will certainly take a look at. But at least for this year, you're not going to have a district tournament that 4 teams will converge to the iconic field house. How disappointing is that for you, a Struthers kid, a guy that loves the community? How disappointing is it for you to not have your McDonald team play at the field house in the postseason?
You know, it's another thing of adversity we've had to overcome. You know, that's why we plan on playing at Struthers, and Mike and Nancy over there at the AD and Roger, they've done us a favor of letting us schedule us, you know what I mean, and in preparation that we were going to play our tournament there. But with that said, you know, it's just another thing we have to overcome. And for us, luckily, we're the 1 seed, and hopefully we'll be playing for a district title on our home court. I don't know how it'll go forward, but, you know, I would love to go back to Struthers and win a district title on that court one day. But that has nothing to do with me personally, Ron. I respect Struthers, and I respect everything about that community. And, you know, whether people want to talk bad about me there or good or whatever it is, that doesn't change how I feel about Coach Wernicke and Coach Aldis and Coach Cole and Coach Fuelheim that coached me and all those guys, Coach Corey and Coach Safko. that have meant so much to Southern basketball. That doesn't change anything with the administration and all that. I have no ill will to those people. I'm so excited for how well they're playing. And listen, if we could get through these next 3 games and we're both undefeated, I mean, when's the last time in our area 2 undefeated teams have closed out the season?
It's been a while, at least 20 years, Coach. Yeah.
So, I mean, that'll be like I said, initially when I get in there, it's not like I haven't been in the field house since, believe me. I'm in there all the time. But it'll be different coming as a visitor, and it'll be emotional for a minute there, but then it's just all about our guys. And listen, bottom line is both teams are going there to win a basketball game and prepare themselves for the tournament coming up. So it is what it is. We've won with the motto all year, 1-0. Tonight's the most important game of our season. We win tonight at Springfield, we win the league outright. We lose, we got to come back Tuesday, take care of business to at least get a share if Springfield was to win out. So this is the game we're focused on. And like you were talking to Coach French and that, I mean, what would it be like tonight if we were able to have fans? It would be unbelievable. And I feel bad for our guys and their guys. They don't get to live that. But I think there's still going to be a pretty good atmosphere there tonight.
You know, I'm going to ask you what I asked Coach Warnecki, and I'll preface this by saying there was a coach that I spoke to years ago, and he told me that he used to have his film guy go to the other side of the floor instead of filming where the benches are. You're on the same side as both benches. He would have his guy film on the other side of the floor. And he made it a point to tell his camera guy, I want you to pan my guys on the bench every so often, like when there's a break in the action. If there's a kid at the foul line, before he gets the ball from the official, I want you to pan to my kids and see where my kids are, because I want to show this on film. I want to show this film and show these guys if they're not if they're not really into the game, if their body language is bad, I want to make sure that these guys see this on film. How important is that for you as a coach to get those kids on the bench, not playing, but get those kids involved in the contest?
Well, that's so crazy you bring that up, and that's been a big topic of ours this last week and a half. About I thought for a stretch of a game, for a couple minutes, we had a little bit of bad body language, and I'm not afraid to address that right after the game. And I had taken 2 different things that I'd seen off of Twitter, and one of them was Babe from when Bill Angelo St. Joe's old coach. He had put something, and another quote that I'd seen, and it stressed it really much. Going into a visiting game like Springfield tonight, how important it is to have our bench involved. Talking to our guys and get excited for each other. I mean, we're 18-0. You should be, if you're not having fun and ecstatic for each other, then maybe you don't belong there. That the culture we've created and want isn't somebody that's pouting because they haven't been playing the minutes they think they should be playing. We want it that when their time is called and we need you for a minute or two, you're going, whoa, crazy for us for those 2 minutes, whatever we need you to do. So the bench is so important right now, so important. And honestly, the few fans that we have at a visiting game, they're important to us, Ron. Being able to get them involved and in the game early means a lot to us.
Jimmy Francis Shelley, the head basketball coach of the McDonald Blue Devils, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning hotline. Look, in a normal atmosphere in basketball, you play a game on Tuesday, you play a game on Friday. Every so often, you'll play a game on Saturday. I bring this up because you decided that your basketball team is not going to take the bye. The tournaments in Divisions 2, 3, and 4 will all start 1 week from Tuesday. And instead of waiting until 2 weeks from tonight to play your first game, which would have been a sectional championship game, you decided you wanted to stay in rhythm, in a basketball rhythm. You play your final game of the season 1 week from tonight, God willing, against Struthers. Your first tournament game will be played that following Tuesday. So instead of waiting until 1 week, you wanted to follow the rhythm of basketball, play a Tuesday, play a Friday. Is that what you had in mind, or help me out? What exactly did you have in mind for jumping right into it instead of taking the bye?
That's a good question. I don't really know what I was thinking. No.
I love your honesty, Coach.
No. So we had met as a staff prior for about a week or two about that, and what was our, with COVID going on, and that was it better to take a bye, get some rest. But Ron, we've played so many games, and we've been in a rhythm. One time this year, we've been off for more than 2 days. One time. So we thought, let's get on the board. Let's put ourselves where we want to be. And we were the number one seed, and let's see who wants to come play us, and that kind of thing. And there's positives and negatives to both sides of us, what we did and what we could have did if we took the bye. So it's a choice that we made, and we talked to our guys about it. It's what they wanted to do, and we're going to roll with it now. I mean, we're ready to go. I mean, it's been nonstop, and we'll probably play that Saturday there and do a little shoot around Sunday, and then come in and practice Monday, and then it'll be full go the rest of the way until we play in that state championship game, Ron.
How stunned were you when you saw Warren JFK as the 2 seed? And again, as the 2 seed, you can be the top seed in your other district if you want to, and then you have all your home games for as long as you're in the tournament. You're at home. How stunned were you to see the number 2 seed jump right into your district?
Not that stunned, honestly. We had a feeling, and we could have passed, and we could have let them go on the board, and we could have did different things. But Ron, as the number 1 seed, and the way we've played this year, we felt like it was to our guys to show them we needed to go on that board. And if you wanted to come play us, you wanted to come play us. I got respect for Coach Carmack and JFK and their program and what they do. And if we get to play them in the district championship at home, it's going to be a great game. It's on our floor, and it's what we wanted to do. And I understand why they did it. They think they're good enough to win a district championship and to stay away from Richmond Heights in the regionals until that regional final game. So I got no hard feelings for them. And if we play them, it's going to be a great game, and we'll be prepared, and they'll be prepared, and so be it. You know what I mean? There's no – I can't be mad and say, well, why didn't they should have just went to the other side so we both go to regionals. That's not what it's about. I mean, they chose what was best for their kids, and they believe that, and we'll see what happens in the next few weeks here.
Now, a lot of the 3 through 6, 3 through 7, a lot of those seeds decided, hey, we're just going to go over to the other side and see if we get a shot here. But look, Valley Christian, you've played them. They're a tough team. They're in this district. You have JFK in this district, Jackson Milton, Western Reserve, Sebring, Leetonia, JFK. They're in the district. I mean, it's not as I guess it's not as big because the 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are in another district, but still there's a lot of talent. Not just McDonald and JFK. There's a lot of talent in this district that you're in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we played Valley first game of the year. They've gotten so much better. Dolph is unbelievable. And one thing about Dolph is he's not afraid to come play you. I got nothing but respect for him and what they do over there. And listen, those guys they do such a tremendous job at Valley. Those guys are so respectful on the floor and off the floor. And they're, the way they're brought up, and that is, I'll be excited to play Dolph again and have him come to our place. But, yeah, like you said, first off, Ron, we both know there's no easy games come tournament time. I mean, you got to be prepared and ready to go every night and step on that court and be mentally focused and tackle that task. Whether it's Valley Christian, JFK, whoever it is, we need to play our game and our style and do what we do best to continue on.
One of the reasons why, and it's just my personal opinion, and you can chime in and if you want to disagree, one of the reasons why I truly believe Struthers and McDonald and Springfield and Boardman and Poland, the teams that have had an incredible successful season, take COVID and put it to the side for just a second. One of the reasons why these schools have been very successful, and I'll even throw Cheney into this as well, you're not talking about one or two kids on your basketball team that are going to beat you every single night, and then the other kids are just role players. Now, every one of the teams that I just mentioned, 4 or 5 kids on that program can come up on a given night and have theirs. And it is so difficult to beat a team where you can go 4 or 5 deep in terms of offense. Because, I mean, let's face it, Coach, it's going to be a whole lot less frequent for 4 or 5 kids to be cold at once than it is for 1 or 2 kids to be cold in a tournament game and cost you a season.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the success of our season has been based on our balance. And you know, we have almost 4 guys averaging double figures. So it's been – and all those teams you mentioned, I mean, think about tonight at Springfield. I mean, there's going to be 10 guys on the floor to start the game. Every one of those guys can put the ball in the hoop. It's crazy. There's been years I've had teams, you know, where 1 or 2 guys score and you got 3 role players, or 3 guys and 2 role players. We legit have 5 guys that can score at any time, and so do they, and so do Struthers, and so does Boardman, and those teams you named. It makes it so much easier and such fun basketball to watch and be a part of when any guy can step up at any time.
All right, you got to fill in the blank here. Give me one word to describe the Jeff Brazil and now Jimmy Francis Shelley full court press at McDonald.
Oh, man. Intensity.
That's a great word. I was going to say maddening, but intensity is a pretty good word. And you know, I talked with Coach Brazil about this last year, and I asked him. I said, "You do this all the time. I mean, even when a team scores 8 or 10 consecutive points down the floor, you're still doing this." And he goes, "Well, yeah." He says, "Because sooner or later, my kids are going to figure it out, and then they're going to get the steals, and we'll get those points back."
Yeah. Listen, Coach Brazil was my word for Coach Brazil is relentless. He really was, and I learned so much from him running 2 years, just more than just basketball too, just about life and the daily operations and what you go through and keeping these guys in line. We don't press as much as his teams. We press. Don't get me wrong, we do, and we do some in the half court, we do some in the full court, we do it out of zone, we just do a ton of different stuff. But the reality is against teams that we think we're superior to, we're going to wear you down. That's our goal, is to wear you down. And by the third or fourth quarter, when our guys are still hitting shots, you're going to be tired out, and we're going to put you away. Does it always work that way? Absolutely not. But that's our plan in some games, and in some other games we have to slow it down a little bit and pick it up and slow it down and pick it up. It's all a different plan every night for us. That's probably a little bit different between me and Jeff. For years, Jeff, I mean, they were going to press and press and press and press and press it, and it was going to wear you down no matter what. So, listen, Coach Brazil is unbelievable. He's a good friend of mine, still is. I talk to him all the time, throw ideas off him and all that stuff. What he did for this program and what he did for myself as a person is unthinkable. It really is. And we've talked to Ron before, and so he knows I appreciate him, and I appreciate his whole family and Zach. Zach, speaking of Zach, what about his start down at West Liberty?
I haven't heard. Fill me in.
Okay, yeah. So Zach's been playing. He's been getting about 19 minutes a night for. I think they're like number 9 in the country, Division II.
There you go.
It's been great, and the nice thing is to be able to stream those games and watch him. And I have a great relationship with Zach, and I talked to him. And actually, I was on the phone with you, and he just texted me and said, "Good luck tonight. Can't wait to watch this and be a part of it." So they still mean a lot to us in our program and my coaching staff. And Ron, last thing I got to say, I don't know if you have any more questions for me, but it's the job at YSN you guys have done to cover us and with DJ. It's unbelievable. And I do that Coach's Corner show, and I've been on your show a couple times. And it's for our fans to be able to not be there but be able to watch. I got fans we have fans everywhere watching them. We have some players' families in North Carolina, Atlanta, and we have a family that watches from Mogador, the McClarys. The gym's named after their dad and that kind of, and grandpa and different things like that. So for them to be able to watch and be a part of this still is remarkable. And it's such a credit to DJ and your guys' staff and you guys and what you guys are doing over there.
Coach, thank you so very much for the kind words. I got to ask before we let you go, and we're speaking with Jimmy Francis Shelley. He is the head basketball coach of the McDonald Blue Devils. You got your kids pressing, now not as frequently as you mentioned when Coach Brazil was there, but still you're pressing. That's taking a tremendous toll on the opposing team, but it's taking a tremendous toll on your team as well. And in an age where running during practice is in a lot of ways considered to be a punishment, which I completely disagree with, but neither here nor there. How conditioned does your basketball team have to be in terms of trying to run this style of a basketball program on both ends of the floor? How conditioned and how much running is involved in a typical McDonald practice for these kids to be conditioned to play the caliber of basketball in which you're playing?
Well, Ron, that's a great question. It really is. And you know, first off, like you said at the beginning, we don't ever use running as punishment. We're running for a purpose. And you know, for the first time all year, I thought Monday and Tuesday against Louisville and Sebring, we showed a little bit of tiredness that we haven't showed all year. But with that said, I mean, in that stretch, we played 8 games in 12 days. So, you know, at the beginning of the year, up to this point, we use running up. We use it as you know, when we're pressing full court of practice, and we go up and down for an extended amount of time, going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. But these last couple of days and going forward here, we got to do a little bit less of that now. And we do need to stay in shape, so we'll do it in spurts. But we need our legs to be fresh and ready to go. One thing I'll still run, at this point, it's about having some guts and grit and heart for those 32 minutes you're out there. And for 18 games, we've shown every bit of that every night on the floor. So, you know, when you do that kind of stuff along with the conditioning and the things that we've done all year, it goes up. You notice it. You know what you can do at practice and what your limits are, and we got to limit ourselves and make sure that we don't do too much these next couple of weeks.
It's fun to go to practice when your team is having a successful year like this one.
Oh man, you ain't wrong there. Listen, one thing about me and my family knows, and everybody knows, is I love being in the gym and I love being around our guys. So they know that too, and we don't get many days off with the schedule that we've played. So we think from December 23rd on until now, we've played 18 games, and the next week we're going to play 22. It's crazy to think in less than 2 months, a month and a half, we've played 22 games. Knock on wood, like you said a bunch of times today, that we get to that point. But it's been, I love it. I love being around my staff. I love being around our players. I love that my son is 5 years old and gets to ride the bus to every game and gets to sit on the bench and be a part of this, what this is in this community. And I'm excited for him next year to start kindergarten at McDonald and be, you know, we're bought in as a family. We really are. We don't live in McDonald right now. We live in Boardman. I teach at Struthers. But we're full in. There's no doubt about it. I've had multiple times this time, Ron, questions this year, Ron, about, are you going to stay after this year? I mean, that's a crazy question to me. I have no intentions of coaching anywhere else other than McDonald for the rest of my career. This is where I want to be. I love it. I love our administration. I love everything about this community. And I got to thank them too, Ron. We've done numerous fundraisers, and we've had over support than we ever expected. So we've been able to do stuff for our guys and team that we didn't know if we'd be able to do. So I got to thank them. And I know that they'll be tuning in tonight to YSN and the game of the week and all that stuff. And Ron, thank you. What you do for us and the coverage you give me, myself, and what you've done for me is great. And I appreciate it, and I look forward to hopefully in the next couple of weeks here we can get back together and talk some more.
Oh, my Lord, absolutely. And you're going to be busy, today against Springfield, tomorrow against St. Thomas Aquinas. Next week you got Lowellville and Struthers, and then the tournaments. But, before the tournaments, let's hook up again and let's talk, whether it be on the show or off the air. Certainly a long overdue dinner that we got to do. Break some bread and let's talk about the season, Coach.
Absolutely, Ron. Thank you guys again and everything you guys do. And I can't wait for tonight. And I can't wait tomorrow to buy one thing I like to do with you guys, and DJ knows this, is I love to buy the broadcast the next day so I can sit and watch and enjoy the commentary and what everybody has to say. And it's been great. And thank you guys again, and thank you, Ron. I'll talk to you in a couple of weeks here.
All right, best of luck to you tonight.
Thanks, Ron.
You got it. Jimmy Francis Shelley, he is the head basketball coach of the McDonald Blue Devils. McDonald taking on Springfield tonight. Man, is that going to be a great game. Holy smokes. And the thing that sucks about it is, unfortunately, with COVID, you're not going to have a jam-packed arena in Springfield. And it's not just in terms of the people being able to be there and be part of the atmosphere from a financial standpoint. I mean, let's be honest here for a second. You only get 15% of your gymnasium filled. The athletic directors and the budget, you're not getting a whole lot of money coming into your home games. And for a night like tonight, I mean, let's be honest. Without COVID, this game would be standing room only. You'd have to literally get a shoehorn out and put some people into the gymnasium. It'd be asses to elbows in the gymnasium tonight in Springfield. And it's just such a darn shame that you're not going to have that incredible atmosphere. But through all of this, the great news is, and we don't want to pat ourselves on the back too much, but this is why YSN is in existence for years like this. God forbid we have another year like this. But, the good thing is, even though most of the fans have not been able to go to a game and physically see the game in person, you're able to go to ysnlive.com and see a basketball game. And now, obviously, it's much better to see it in person and be a part of the action, but this is a great alternative. So if you're not going to be going to Springfield tonight and you want to watch the game, by all means, go to ysnlive.com/McDonald or ysnlive.com/Springfield, and you'll be able to watch the game tonight. And if you're going to just watch open look, I'll guarantee you Mike Ackelson and the fellas at headquarters in East Palestine, they'll probably have a few times during the course of the night where they'll take it to DJ and the folks doing the game from Springfield tonight. I mean, this is going to be a great game tonight. McDonald taking on Springfield, and if McDonald wins, they clinch the Mahoning Valley Athletic Conference Scarlet tier. They'll go to 19-0 with a victory tonight. If Springfield wins, well, should Springfield win the rest of their league games, then McDonald would have to beat Lowellville on Tuesday in order to be settled for co-champions. So this could be a great game tonight. Fantastic game tonight. McDonald at Springfield, and we'll have it for you tonight on ysnlive.com, along with a ton of other games. All right, we're going to take a timeout. On the other side, we will hear in the next 20 minutes or so from the head basketball coach of the Cardinal Mooney Cardinals. Kerry Palermo will be calling in at about 2:15, but you have plenty of time to jump on board. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline is open for business. 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. We're back in a bit. It's a Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Ruud gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy-efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Ruud, and so should you.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
High-res futurecast shows steady snow for the next few hours.
Still just downright cold.
It is bitter out there.
Several strong bands of lake effect snow.
Winds is kind of the big story today as well.
So if you need a more detailed winter forecast on WFMJ.com and the Storm Tracker 21 app.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home. WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience and comprehensive wealth strategy, we assist our clients attain their goals. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit WRSWealthAdvisors.com. Good luck, athletes!
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
News doesn't stop after the sun goes down. Sometimes you just have to hustle to get it. At 21 News, no matter how far it is, no matter what it takes to get there, we're working to bring you the best stories and the freshest content at 11 p.m. with the context and clarity that makes it worth staying up for, no matter what time it is. 21 News at 11 with me, Aaron Simonek, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 11, news that's worth your time.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. The MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline open for business. 330-886-0813. That's 330-886-0813. Coming up at about 2:15, we will hear from the head basketball coach at the Cardinal Mooney Cardinals, Kerry Palermo. He will be coming up at 2:15 this afternoon as we continue to talk some high school hoops on this Friday edition of Running Point. I did want to make mention, though, a couple of retirements. The Pouncey twin boys, Marquise and Maurice, have both decided to call it a career. Marquise Pouncey has retired as a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you got to wonder, all right, now the center is gone. Where does this tie in with Ben Roethlisberger? Through the years, Roethlisberger had made mention, although I don't think anything was official, that when Marquise Pouncey would retire, that would be about the same time that he would retire. I'll be very curious. I mean, obviously, I expect Roethlisberger to be back in 2021, but you know, now that Marquise Pouncey has officially retired, it certainly would not surprise me if the Steelers quarterback decided to hang it up at the exact same time. And well, let's be honest, the Steelers do have two quarterbacks in the fold now, in Dwayne Haskins and as well as the previous backup quarterback, Mason Rudolph. So clearly the Steelers do have two alternatives, although neither one is anywhere close to Roethlisberger. But I'll be curious to see what happens there. And then this morning came the release of J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt had a conversation with Texans management, and he was not ready to go through a rebuild, and they got together and they agreed that it was best for J.J. to be released. So he is officially a free agent, and you wonder, you know, J.J.'s brother, T.J. Watt, arguably one of the best defensive players in the National Football League right now, how much of an interest is there for JJ to play with his brother TJ and his younger brother Derek? Both Derek and TJ are members of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Does JJ Watt want to go back home? I mean, let's face it, Green Bay would be a great landing spot for J.J. Watt. He played his college football at the University of Wisconsin. Green Bay certainly would need some help in terms of getting a pass rusher with the Green Bay Packers. And well, J.J. Watt is certainly not in his prime. He is certainly still a very strong threat, especially if he's a part-time player and just a pass rusher who comes in 40% of the time. To just do that, I think you can see a very effective J.J. Watt. And then there's a team in Western New York that it's no secret the Bills need a pass rusher. I think Buffalo would be a great landing spot for J.J. Watt. There's plenty, not to mention Cleveland. You know, Cleveland could certainly use him at outside linebacker, although stopping the run is the big part of Cleveland and helping that back seven out. I'm not so sure that he's a great fit in Cleveland, in that Cleveland already has a pretty decent pass rush. That's not their problem. Their problem is they can't stop the run, and their back seven's atrocious. And I don't think J.J. Watt is a full-time outside linebacker anymore. I think those days are pretty much gone. I think he is mainly now a guy that is a designated pass rusher, a guy that can go 35, 40 snaps a game. And honestly, I think, I'm not saying this as a Bills fan, I'm saying this as a football fan, I think Buffalo or Green Bay would be the two spots that I think would serve him best. Let's go to the phone lines. Tony, you're on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. What's going on, Tony?
Boy, you piqued my interest. Now, first of all, before you even start talking about this guy is his own business, so he's got to get paid. How is Pittsburgh's salary cap?
Well, now that Marquise Pouncey is retired, I think that the Steelers can afford him.
And the Bills?
Oh, they're also a team that can definitely afford him as well, and both teams can. And I think that both teams are probably going to wind up having a situation where there will be some guys released to shore up some money. So I don't think there's going to be an issue with either team in terms of whether or not they're going to be able to afford a J.J. Watt. I think that both teams will be able to do that. Now, Tony Grossi within the hour is reporting that J.J. has no interest in playing for the Steelers.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, the family seems real close, and they'd be right next to each other when they're making their Subway ads, so they wouldn't have to,
Very true. Yeah, that's very true. I mean, although they could probably go anywhere to make those crazy Subway ads, ads.
And let's be honest, what's it, a 2.5, 3-hour drive from Pittsburgh to Buffalo? It's no big deal if he wants to go visit his brothers.
Yeah, no, and Lord knows they're going to be playing each other next year too. So, it's not out of the realm of possibility for him to wind up in Buffalo, and I certainly think Green Bay would be another situation. Now the Packers, they would probably have to do some house cleaning because they're $21 million under, or I should say over the salary cap. So they would have to do some spring cleaning for J.J. Watt to fit in their salary cap. And by the way, this is assuming the cap doesn't go anywhere up or down, and that's a big assumption because this cap may actually go down based on the amount of revenue that was lost in 2020.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't end up with the Chiefs because what do they have, like 4 times the salary cap on most teams or something?
Well, Kansas City's underwater too. They're $17 million over the cap, so there's going to be some spring cleaning over there as well.
Yeah, well, we had talked earlier about who were free agents and who they had locked up, and they still have so much locked up. But I would love him, as a Bills fan, currently a Bills fan, I would love to see him in Buffalo because they got 2 young guys. And Ed Oliver came on toward the end of the year, different position, but on the defensive line. And I think he needs to develop more of a work ethic and get that motor revved up. And I think that J.J. Watts is the kind of guy that can make that happen. And I think Epinesa is on the verge also. And Epinesa is of the same type person, body that J.J. Watts is.
Yeah. I was reading an article in The Athletic where there were some people within the organization that actually thought Ed Oliver had an unbelievable season. And I stopped and wondered of their sanity, and then it dawned on me, Ed Oliver was double-teamed for most of the season. So by him being...
He's a tackle. Let's admit he's a tackle, which makes Aaron Donald so much better when you look at his numbers. He's not an edge rusher. T.J. Watt's great. You won the sack title, I think, this year, but Aaron Donald is just in amongst everything when he's playing.
Well, and Aaron Donald is also double teamed. That's why he got the Defensive Player of the Year award. He's doing all this stuff while being double teamed, and Ed Oliver was being double teamed all year long as well. And by Ed Oliver making sure that he was holding his ground, he did his job for the linebackers to finish
up.
up
Other defensive players.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's be honest. The old school was, your defensive tackles and your defensive ends kept people off your linebackers. That was their job to do the tackling. So he was doing his job. He freed up the linebackers.
Oh, absolutely. And Milano and Edmonds both had pretty nice years, even though Edmonds and Milano were both banged up and missing some significant time. They both had very nice years when they were on the field.
Klein came along, too. But
absolutely.
We'll see how it plays out, and I'd love to keep him because he seems like a really decent guy. But I don't know if they're going to be able to afford Milano.
No, probably not. And again, if they can get J.J. Watt in, now he's not a full-time guy. I don't want him to play full-time. But if you can get him 35 to 40 snaps a game, and he's essentially the edge rusher in the passing situations, and he's there just to rush the passer, I think you'll get the most bang for your buck from J.J. Watt. He'll be a double-digit sack guy.
Well, this morning we've got now. Hey, one more football comment, then I want to ask you a question about baseball. And I know Anthony's not there right now, and I wanted, condolences to him. I mean, that's a tough deal. But I'm just curious, and I made my dig last week. It was a joke, but the comment about your defensive backs wrestling our receivers.
Yeah.
And they got away with murder. This isn't complaining. That's the officiating they had. You play with the officials you got. But our receivers weren't able to get off the line. I mean, they were holding and wrestling and clenching. But you know what? You play Tom Brady, you're not even allowed to breathe on his receivers.
And it's an awful lot like Michael Jordan when he was playing basketball. You don't dare touch him or breathe on him, or you're going to get called for a foul. Yeah, look, it exists.
I just wanted to ask Anthony if he saw that, since now he's seen both sides of it. And the other comment about this, and Mahomes is an amazing quarterback, and I hope that we can start believing that Josh Allen may be on the verge of being an amazing quarterback, but also. But the commentary that Josh Allen faced in games where he was just pressured and no options, no outlets, and tried to put it on his back, he was dogged for that. In the Super Bowl, I heard nothing about praise about what Mahomes was doing running 20 yards backwards. Look what he's trying to do for his team.
Yeah, it's if you're going to praise someone, then praise everyone when you're doing that. I just the inconsistency of people's opinions based on who the person is drives me bonkers. It really does, Tony. It drives me nuts. So you saw that during
the game, that if Josh Allen would have done this,
absolutely,
been berated,
absolutely. Any other quarterback would have been absolutely berated, but because it's the golden child, well, he's doing it. I mean, look at how special. Yeah, I get tired of that crap. I mean, if it's one quarterback that's doing this, then make sure that you're doing the same explanation in every scenario. Because nothing infuriates me more than to hear someone basically badmouth a quarterback or someone in the very same position for doing the very same thing because of the very same reason, and yet sometimes broadcasters will badmouth that person but have glorious praise for someone who's, quote, established. Drives me bonkers.
Back to the comment you made about, and we've talked about this before years ago, uneven officiating. Michael Jordan, don't breathe on him. But LeBron James, because he's 6'8" and 265 or whatever the hell he is.
Yeah.
Man, he got nothing. He gets nothing.
Well, neither did Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, when he was 7'2", 285, 290, we're not going to call any fouls against him.
A rule's a rule, right?
Yeah, a rule is a rule. A foul is a foul. I mean, if a guy is fouling you, you call the foul. It's. I mean, if you're going to do it for one person, you do it for everybody. It's just, again, that's one of the reasons why the NBA sucks and always has. Because you have a superstar treatment.
The level of the field based on, it's not a handicap league.
No, exactly. And I'm not going to.
It's not a 6'3" and under league.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same way in baseball. I'm not going to call a strike just because some established pitcher has hit a glove 6 inches off the plate. You're 6 inches off the plate. I'm calling it a ball.
You're not talking about the 95 Braves.
No. Why would we want to talk about something like that? Tony, I got to get going. I got a coach calling in a couple of minutes, brother.
Let me ask you to follow up with one thing. COVID and the local teams. Any of the teams getting sick? How's the COVID going?
So far, so good. But you
that's
know,
all I want to know. If you hear of any, bring it up because I'm curious about that as we go into the playoffs.
Yeah, you know as well as I do. And thanks for the call, Tony. You know as well as I do. Come tournament time, it's going to affect some teams. And it sucks that we're going to have this discussion just like we did in football season. You know, there's a couple of teams in our area. Well, Champion didn't even get an opportunity to play a playoff game because their kids were, shut down because of COVID. I don't want to bring up a painful topic for Ursuline, but, Dan Reardon's team were missing 5 or 6 players in their loss. And that knocked them out of the tournament. COVID related. I mean, it just ain't fair. It's not fair, but it's part of the ever-ending 2020-2021 sports calendar. We said this before football season start. There's going to be absolutely, positively nothing fair in this 2020-2021 academic and athletic school year. There is going to be absolutely nothing that resembles fair. And I hope that we don't get any COVID between now and the end of the basketball tournaments, but you know as well as I do, there's a pretty good chance that you'll get it because, unfortunately, it's still here. It's still rearing its ugly head. I just hope that it does not affect our basketball teams. I hope it doesn't. But, unfortunately, it did affect our football programs, some of them. And I'm resigned to the fact that it's going to probably affect our basketball teams as well. I hope not, but there's a pretty good chance that it will affect our basketball teams as well. All right, 330-886-0813. We're going to take a timeout. On the other end, we'll hear from the head basketball coach of the Cardinal Mooney Cardinals. Coach Palermo will be joining me momentarily. We're going to talk Cardinal Mooney Cardinals basketball. That's coming up in a bit. Stick around. More to come.
No matter what the weather, be prepared with a reliable, efficient Ruud gas furnace or air conditioner from MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. Call your energy-efficient expert, MP Vivo, today for a free estimate.
Here at MP Vivo, we rely on Ruud, and so should you.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
High-res Futurecast shows steady snow for the next few hours.
Still just downright cold.
It is bitter out there.
Several strong bands of lake effect snow.
Winds is kind of the big story today as well.
So if you need a more detailed winter forecast on WFMJ.com and the Storm Tracker 21 app.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors is the area's premier wealth and retirement specialist. With our combined 70 years experience and comprehensive wealth strategy, we assist our clients attain their goals. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services, or visit wrswealthadvisors.com. Good luck, athletes.
Hi everyone, this is DJ Yoakley with Your Sports Network. We appreciate your support of YSN and welcome you to the YSN family. Our broadcast streams are brought to you live at no cost to you by sponsors that are local to this community. Without the vision and generosity of our sponsors and partners, we would not be able to bring this game to you today. So please support the great businesses and leaders that are making this game possible. And if you're a business in need of great advertising and sponsorship opportunities, feel free to head over to our site for more information on the right fit for you. We are local, we are loyal, and we are live. We are YSN.
Ah, the details. Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods is one fine ride. Perfect cornering, superb handling, sporty and stylish, power to spare, plus awesome mileage. Yeah, jaw-droppingly beautiful lines and well appointed with luxurious trim. Put more oomph in your life and start beholding the molding. Find your home's fine hardwood at BairdBrothers.com.
For heating, cooling, and indoor air quality, the Mahoning Valley trusts MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning, offering worry-free repair, service, and installation. Call MP Vivo today for a free estimate.
MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning. We're your energy-efficient experts.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. The Cardinal Mooney Cardinals take on Youngstown East tonight from Cardinal Mooney High School. And joining me prior to tonight's game, the head basketball coach of the Mooney Cardinals, Kerry Palermo. Coach Palermo, how are you today, sir?
Oh, not too bad. How about you?
Can't complain. All right, let's go through this 2020-2021 campaign. Man, COVID has really shaken its ugly head with your basketball program. And you started this season on December the 5th, but through the last couple of months, some weird things have happened at Cardinal Mooney High School. Tell everyone how COVID has affected your basketball program, Coach.
So going into December 8th, we were going to play at Fitch. At that point we had played 9 games, and then at that game we played. Mike Polini broke his wrist. We lost in overtime, and the next couple of days we're kind of trying to recalibrate our team and whatnot, and get ready to play Cheney and Ursuline that week. And then Tuesday morning, one of our players that was out for a day or two just wasn't feeling well. His symptoms got progressively worse and decided to get tested, and he tested positive, and then we were shut down for 14 days. We ended up having to reschedule 5 games for later in the year, and we were able to play our first game after about 3 days of practice on January 28th against Ursuline. And then since then, we've really just been playing 3-game weeks. So that game we played on a Thursday. We were supposed to play on that Tuesday against East, but they came down with COVID. We were supposed to play that Friday after Ursuline against Cheney. They had COVID. So then we found a game for Saturday against Howland. So we went Thursday, Ursuline, Saturday, Howland, Tuesday against Ursuline, Thursday again, Howland. And then Saturday we went to Glen Oak and played Lake Center, and then this past Tuesday we just played Louisville. So we're going to be playing, we play East tonight and then Canton Central tomorrow, and then we'll play another 3-game week next week.
Yeah, it's just been absolutely crazy for everyone, but you guys have the good news is you've played an awful lot of basketball since coming back from COVID. The bad news is you got tournaments coming up, and I got to wonder, Coach, how concerned are you of potentially burning the team out prior to the tournaments?
You know what? To be honest with you, with this group, I'm not. They love the game. They are very goal oriented, and they are like locked in on the task at hand. If I told them we were playing 5 games in 5 days, I don't think this group would care. And we're really playing well right now. We've won 3 in a row. We kind of got our legs back from the quarantine. We took a bye. We were the 2 seed in our district out of 24 teams. So we took a bye. Our first game won't be till the 26th. So we're going to have a couple extra days to rest. So I'm not real concerned with the getting burned out. What I am concerned with is really just honestly another shutdown. COVID's kind of already ran through our team. For the most part, there's still some kids that didn't contract it. But and that's something you can't control. So that's something obviously that's going to give you anxiety. But I just don't want to get shut down before tournament. And that's my biggest concern right now, to be honest with you.
I echo that. I mean, obviously, I made mention of this before we had you on, Coach. You see how many teams were affected by that in football season, and unfortunately, we'll probably see a couple of teams affected in it in basketball season. But in a perfect world, hopefully, we go through the tournaments without any COVID issues, because especially this season, because so many schools have so many incredible stories that have been told. And Coach, I find it amazing to me that you guys are going to be able to get 21 games played, God willing, if there are no games canceled. You're going to be able to get 21 games into your schedule, which I think is absolutely phenomenal.
It's awesome. It really is a tribute to the to our administration, to our athletic department, my coaching staff, and then ultimately our players and their parents. They've been committed from this since June 1st, since we were given the okay to return to workouts and whatnot. And our kids have followed all the rules. They've done everything we've asked, as far as not going out to parties and not being around. Essentially, not being around your friends that don't play basketball. And they've done that, and going back to what you said, there's going to be some teams affected. It's really not fair, to the kids. I know, life's not fair and all that stuff, but all of these rules that the state comes up with, the CDC, the County Board of Health, none of them are consistent with one another, and then every school interprets it a different way. And it's really the only people it's affecting is the kids, is the players. And that's what's very, very, very irritating. I pray that no team gets shut down and these seniors get a chance to compete one last time. And I know sports aren't the be-all and end-all, but, when we're trying to have these kids, focus and work toward a common goal with teammates and give them a chance to understand, some life lessons and get themselves ready for the real world, to have something that's kind of out of their control, shut that down, that'd be kind of bogus.
Kerry Palermo.
That's kind of frustrating.
No, you're 100% right, Coach. Kerry Palermo joining me on the MP Vivo, the heating and air conditioning hotline. Cardinal Mooney, a Division III program, and year in and year out, I always look at your schedule and chuckle because you're a Division III school, but you don't play a Division III schedule. I mean, D3 teams don't normally play Boardman or Fitch or Harding or Ursuline or Canton Central Catholic, even though they're Division III. Howland, there's plenty of D2 and D1 teams on your D3 school schedule, and that just prepares Cardinal Mooney year in and year out for a long tournament run.
It really does, we kind of laughed as a staff when we were doing our seeding, and there's some really good teams in our tournament. I know they might not play the schedule we do, but there's some really good teams in our district and whatnot. But we kind of chuckled when you're supposed to put in your record against Division I opponents, your record against Division II opponents. Of the 24 teams in our district, we played the most Division I teams. We played 4 Division I teams to that time period, about 2 weeks ago. The other remaining 23 teams had played 1 Division I team combined. And that's the things that we try to sell our kids. We try to get them buy-in. You're going to be playing this schedule. We're going to finish the year next week. We're playing Cheney on the 18th and the 20th. With no disrespect to anybody in our district, we're not going to see anybody with that kind of size, athleticism, and that kind of basketball skill. We think that's going to prepare our kids, hopefully for a long tournament run.
No question. And you take a look at Division III. You know, we've sat back and said the advent of the two districts smashing into to combine one large tournament where you'll have two district champions, but in your half of the bracket, there's some good basketball teams. I mean, you're going to see LeBray. You got a Crestview team that on a given night they can hang with anybody. A Waterloo team that is a fantastic basketball team, and then Newton Falls that has been historically a fantastic program. So there's some solid teams, but none of those teams are, with all due respect, none of those teams have the schedule that you guys have, where, like you said, you're going to be going up against arguably the most athletic team of any team in the area in Cheney, and you're not only going to play them once, you're going to be playing them twice. You've played Ursuline twice. You've played Boardman. You've played Harding. That's a ridiculous schedule, but it's going to give your kids that opportunity to let them know a preview of the tournament if you get out of districts.
That's right. That's exactly what I tell our kids is, and you're right. We have Newton Falls, LeBray, Crestview. The teams that we could face it'd be in the second round, the sectional final, Middle Ridge, Columbia. They're an extremely well-coached team. There's some talent on both those teams. I know their records might not reflect it. But you're right. That's the biggest thing we do with our scheduling every year in and year out. We really just want to test our kids, and when we do have the talent, when we do have the players, to play up against those teams, it only prepares us even more when we get into our district. And those teams, those Newton Falls and LeBray, they try to schedule up as much as they can as well. They kind of are strapped with, I think their league may have 12 teams, 10 teams. That kind of takes up a lot of games as well. I don't want to sell them short because when I was at Ursuline and at Mooney, LeBray would routinely schedule us, both of us, to get us on their schedule.
You got a number of seniors on this team. Obviously, good to see Michael Pellini back from his broken wrist. Thomas Fire on this team as well. Talk about the senior leadership on this basketball team this year, Coach.
It's huge. Thomas and Michael, have been in our program obviously for 4 years. As freshmen, these guys both were playing a ton of JV, dressed varsity. Michael got some varsity playing time as a freshman. To be honest, he probably should have got a little bit more looking back on it. They've seen our program go through a 5-17 season when they were freshmen, and they really saw firsthand, what it takes to win. I should kind of rephrase that. We had some bad attitudes in our program. We had some bad habits, and they were able to learn from that, and they were able to see what lack of leadership could do to a program. And as sophomores, those two guys ended up being, toward the end of their sophomore season, two of our better players going to the tournament. We were able to upset Struthers in the first round with all those guys, Carson Ryan, Metzka, and whatnot. And then as juniors last year, we went from winning 5 games their freshman year, 10 games their sophomore year. They won 12 or 13 games last year, and right now they're 12-4. And we have talented guys, Mick Hergenrother, Thomas, and Mike. But the biggest thing is the leadership. The biggest thing is that the players holding each other accountable. If I just sat back out of practice and gave those two guys the practice plan, they'd be able to run through the whole thing for 2 hours, and we wouldn't miss a beat. If I'm going in the locker room at halftime or we're going into a huddle in a crucial moment, those guys aren't afraid to give me their input, tell me what they see, and tell me what's working. On top of that, none of those guys care who gets the credit. We've played 16 games this year. 4 guys, 3 of them, 3 times between them have been the leading scorer every other night. All 3 of those guys are averaging over 14 points a game. It's whoever has a hot hand, they feed. It's a very unselfish team. And that goes from player 4 through 12. All of them accept their roles, understand their roles. I haven't had a parent phone call with the varsity players this year about playing time. It's just, they're really a joy to coach. It's a super group, and it really starts with those 2 senior leaders.
Coach, the balance on this team is one of the things that impresses me, and this was long before you guys had your COVID issues and started losing a couple of games prior to the January 8th loss to Austintown Fitch. You guys are just so balanced and were winning ball games in a lot of different ways, defensively and cranking up some points offensively. Just the balance of this team. Speak on that aspect of your basketball team, Coach.
Well, I mean, just going back to the chemistry and whatnot, these kids understand. Like, we kind of lay out for them a sort of a system at the beginning of every year. And this year we kind of talked about our goal is to get to 6 points every game. And we have goals. We pressure for 32 minutes. If we can force this many turnovers, get this many points off of turnovers, score this many points on out of bounds plays, in the half court, we want to get this guy an X amount of shots, this guy an X amount of shots. If we're going to run 8 or 9, if there's 8 or 9, if we think there's going to be maybe 20 to 30 half-court possessions, let's break down maybe 6 or 8 things that we really want to run, for 2 or 3 different guys. And these kids really buy into that. We know that a team is guarding ball screens certain ways. Well, we know we're going to get these shots from this person in this spot. If a team likes to sag off, well, then we know we're going to drive and kick, and we're going to have shots from the outside. The balance really comes from the players understanding what we ask of them. They have an incredibly high IQ for a high school basketball team. Because when you look at us in the layup line, we're I don't think we have a guy over 6'3". We're not very long. We probably wouldn't win a 4x100 meter relay race. But these kids know how to play basketball, and that's really the key. The balance just comes from those kids being unselfish and our leaders being unselfish.
One of the things I also like about this team, you get after it on defense. You have played a grand total of 16 games, and there's only been 2 games where you've allowed the opposition to score more than 55 points. That's just some unbelievably good defense, Coach.
And that's one of the goals that we set forth. We don't like giving up more than 10 points a quarter. That's kind of our goal. And in the fourth quarter, it's very tough to keep a team under 10 points because, usually if we're ahead, and this year we've been ahead a lot going in the fourth, teams are really pushing the tempo and they're getting up shots. There's going to be more possessions. But they buy into that. I mean, if you were to come to practice and watch these kids compete like in a shell drill, it's a war. Oftentimes we kind of have to hold them back. We don't want them diving around or diving into the wall or whatnot or in the bleachers because we kind of just want to save it for Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday nights. But that's really where it starts. And again, that has to do with our leaders buying into that and understanding that we can score as much as we want, but if we don't, there was a game this year where we played South Range and they played a really good game against us, and we didn't shoot the ball very well at all. And I think we scored 48 points, but we held them to 45, and we were able to get the win. And we got to the locker room. We're like, hey, how did we play? A couple of our kids were like, we played like crap. We're like, yeah, but you found a way to win. How'd you find a way to win? And we're like, well, we dug in and got stops. Well, that's what championship caliber teams do. And again, these kids have a very good understanding of that.
Gary Palermo, the head basketball coach of the Cardinal Mooney Cardinals, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Many, many, many years ago, when Bob Santor was the head basketball coach at Cardinal Mooney, he used to have a Cardinal Mooney Cardinals basketball camp. And I remember going to a few years of those basketball camps. I love the Cardinal Mooney Cardinals home basketball floor. I love this place. Absolutely love the gymnasium. I love the setup. I love the fact that the stands are so damn close to the end lines, and it is the perfect gymnasium for high school basketball. I got to imagine it's a special place to hold a practice as well.
It really is. I mean, I always joke around with the kids. I'm like, what would you rather be doing? I think they kind of have more of an understanding of that this year. with the shutdowns and whatnot, and with COVID and that understanding. But when I come in every day, especially if it's like a Saturday morning practice, I'm the first one there. I love just turning the lights on with nobody in the gym, just looking around. You get to see all the banners, all of our basketball banners going back to the mid-'70s and the '80s and whatnot. And, even looking up like at the football banners and whatnot, and just looking around, just having the chance to kind of make that program, my own, and my coaching staff make it our own, and kind of make it and have our kids buy into our culture and what we feel, our basketball program should look like. There's not a greater honor, to be honest with you. And I think our kids have a pretty deep appreciation of that, especially this year.
Coach, is your team playing its best basketball right now, or can you be even better as we get closer and closer to the tournament?
I tell you what, I think we can get better. That going into that Fitch game, January 8th, we were riding high. I mean, we had won 5 in a row. We had beat Harding, Fitch, Canton Central Catholic, all by double digits. I think all 5 of our wins were by double digits going into that. And then we actually played, when Michael went out, we actually played a really good game. Other than the last 2 minutes of it, we blew an 8-point lead. And then after the COVID hit, and when we came back, the kids were battling and playing hard. We were so out of shape those first 2-3 games. We ended up losing 2 to Ursuline. We beat Howland twice. That Sunday game, or that Saturday game, last Saturday we played Lake Center, and we didn't shoot the ball well. We didn't shoot the ball well at all, but we really locked up. We held them to 29 points. I mean, we were flying around. We couldn't make a layup, couldn't buy a bucket. And I kind of told our kids in the locker room, I said, the shots are going to fall. The timing on offense is going to come, but I feel like you guys got your legs back. Now, how do you guys feel? Do you guys feel sore or anything? You feel tired? Like, no, we feel fine. And then Tuesday night we went to Louisville, and they're a really quality program. And that first half we made a couple shots. It was 31-14 going into half. We were up. And I kind of looked at my assistants. I said, I think we're back. I know we got our legs back, but I think we got our rhythm and our timing. We just got our swagger back. And really at halftime, you could just see the look on our kids' faces. They didn't even want to listen to me. They wanted to get back out on the floor for the third quarter, and you could tell the game was already over. Really wasn't close the rest of the way. Do I think we're playing our best basketball? I hope not. I think we'll get a better idea of that this weekend. Do I think we could take it up a notch? Absolutely. There's some guys on our team that have really stepped up the past 2-3 weeks since we've been back that I think can take another jump. A couple football guys that with the early shutdowns in November and with football ending, kind of got robbed of some experience, whether it be in scrimmages and whatnot, practice time, that I think could really help us down the stretch.
I'm really looking forward to next Thursday and next Saturday. I mean, I know you still have a game against East tonight and Canton Central Catholic tomorrow night, and both teams are going to provide some amazing competition. But next Thursday and next Saturday, back-to-back against the Cheney Cowboys, arguably the most athletic basketball team in this area. I am really excited to see what Cardinal Mooney does against Cheney in these 2 games.
Me too.
Gary Palermo, the head basketball coach of the Cardinal Mooney Cardinals. And, I mean, let's face it, Coach, I mean, you play the way you played prior to early January. There's a long tournament run in store for Cardinal Mooney, and you couple that with the schedule that you've had to prepare yourself. I could see a really long tournament run for Cardinal Mooney.
I'm with you. Each game is going to be its different battle. I know it sounds like kind of elementary, but if you go out there and you don't make shots and whatnot, can you defend enough to carry you through? But I think you're right. If we can get back to that level and sustain the level that we played Tuesday night and take it up a notch, that's what I expect, and I think that's what these kids expect.
Well, you guys are going to be really busy before next Saturday. You'll have played 5 games. Best of luck with that, and continued success through the rest of the regular season and on into the tournaments, Coach.
I appreciate it, sir.
You got it. Kerry Palermo, the head basketball coach at Cardinal Mooney. Yeah, do not sleep on Cardinal Mooney, kids. No. Division 3, they're going to be heard from in D3. Make no mistake about it. They play East tonight at Mooney's Gymnasium, and then tomorrow night, Canton Central Catholic comes to town. Yeah, that's a great non-conference game right there. And then they're home to South Range, and then Cheney. Thursday at Cardinal Mooney, Saturday at Cheney. Woo! Man, that's a good way to close out the season. We'll take a timeout, be back with more. It is a Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Hi, this is Jim Myers with Myers Family Insurance, your local Medicare and retirement resource. We're excited to have sports back. Whether you're on the field or cheering from the stands, sports unifies communities and brings hope for the future. We're all one team working together. At Myers Family Insurance, we know the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is October 15th through December 7th. Now's the time to make sure your plan continues to meet your needs for the upcoming year.
Call today.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at BairdBrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
I went to Greenwood Chevrolet because I was really interested in looking at the tracks.
Because I wanted my dream truck.
Because I've been going there for 20 years. I think whenever we go there, whatever car we're looking for, they have tremendous inventory.
If you're looking for people who care about you, Greenwood is the place to go.
You know, it's like family there. The girls know me in service. It's Miss Kim in the Tahoe.
I'm really happy that I went
to Greenwood Chevrolet.
Because they really went
the extra mile for me.
Now we're going the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Local teams are heating up the hardwoods, and you can keep up with all the action on and off the court with Five Guys Hoop News all season long on 21 Sports.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Running Point presented by Greenwood Chevrolet on Mahoning Avenue in Austintown. Coming up the top of the hour, DJ and the fellas will take you through the 3 o'clock hour. It is the world-famous Power Hour coming up at 3 o'clock on ysnlive.com. Minor League Baseball, we have made mention in this entire offseason that minor league baseball was going to have a very large switch in how they do things. Major League Baseball made an announcement this morning that is going to be quite interesting, to say the least. Gone are all of the leagues. The International League, the Pacific Coast League, the Texas League, the Southern League, the Eastern League, the Mid-Atlantic League, the South Atlantic League, the Midwest League. All of those leagues are gone. Their history. Here is what you are going to have in minor league baseball. AAA is going to be an Eastern Division or an Eastern Conference and a Western Conference. Your Midwest Division in the Eastern Conference, Columbus, Indianapolis, Iowa, Louisville, Omaha, St. Paul, and Toledo. And in your Northeast Division of the Eastern Conference, Buffalo, Lehigh Valley, Rochester, Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, Syracuse, Worcester, Charlotte, Durham, Gwinnett, Jacksonville, Memphis, Nashville, and Norfolk. I'm sorry, the Northeast. Northeast Division is going to be Buffalo, Lehigh Valley, Rochester, Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, Syracuse, and Worcester. The Southeastern Division in the Eastern Conference is Charlotte, Durham, Gwinnett, Jacksonville, Memphis, Nashville, and Norfolk. The Western Conference will be divided into two divisions, the Eastern and the Western divisions. The East will include Albuquerque, El Paso, Oklahoma City, Round Rock, and Sugar Land. The Western division will be Las Vegas, Reno, Sacramento, Salt Lake, and Tacoma. AA will have three conferences, the Central, the Northeast, and the South. Those are going to be the conferences. In the Central Conference, two divisions, the North and the South. The North will be Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas, Springfield, and Tulsa, along with Wichita. And the Southern Conference, or I should say the Southern Division in the Central Conference, Amarillo, Corpus Christi, Frisco, Midland, and San Antonio. In the Northeast Conference, your Northeast divisions will be Binghamton, Hartford, New Hampshire, Portland, Reading, and Somerset. And the Southwest Division, Akron, Altoona, Bowie, Erie, Harrisburg, and Richmond. The South Conference will have two divisions, a Northern Division and a Southern Division. The North will include Birmingham, Chattanooga, Rocket City, and Tennessee. The South will include Biloxi, Mississippi, Montgomery, and Pensacola. That's in AA ball. The High A will have a Central, an Eastern, and a Western Conference. The Central Conference will be divided East and West. The East is Dayton, Fort Wayne, Great Lakes, Lake County, and Lansing, along with West Michigan. The West will be Beloit, Cedar Rapids, Peoria, Quad Cities, South Bend, and Wisconsin. The Eastern Conference will have teams from the North and teams from the South. The North will be Aberdeen, Brooklyn, Hudson Valley, Jersey Shore, and Wilmington. And the South will be Asheville, Bowling Green, Greensboro, Greenville, Hickory, Rome, and Winston-Salem. And the West will have one division, Eugene, Everett, Hillsboro, Spokane, Tri-City, and Vancouver. And then the low A teams will be out of the Eastern Conference, the Southeastern Conference, and the Western Conference. The Eastern Conference will have a Central Division and a Northern Division. Central Division, Carolina, down Eastwood, Fayetteville, and Kannapolis. And the North will be Delmarva, Fredericksburg, Lynchburg, Salem, Augusta, Charleston, Columbia, and the North will be Delmarva, Fredericksburg, Lynchburg, and Salem. And the South will be Augusta, Charleston, Columbia, and Myrtle Beach. Mineral Ridge. Jesus, Ron. Myrtle Beach. Southeast Conference, you'll have an East and a Western Division. Eastern Division will be Daytona, Jupiter, Palm Beach, and St. Lucie. The West will be Bradenton, Clearwater, Dunedin, Fort Myers, Lakeland, and Tampa. This is the old Florida State League. And the low A ball Western Conference. The North will have Fresno, Modesto, San Jose, and Stockton. The South will be Inland Empire, Lake Elsinore, Rancho Cucamonga, and Visalia. That's minor league baseball. And, of course, the Scrappers are going to be in the newly formed draft league, where the Scrappers will be joined by the West Virginia, Williamsport State College, Frederick, and Trenton. So 6 teams will be encompassing the premier year, or I should say the first year, inaugural year, if you will, of the draft league. That'll be a lot of fun, and we're really looking forward to having some fun with the Mahoning Valley Scrappers this year, as they are now no longer an Indians affiliate, but a Major League Baseball Draft League affiliate. Should be an awful lot of fun. All right, so, yeah, that's Major League Baseball. All 120 minor league teams are part of the Professional Development League. All of the minor leagues, South Atlantic League, Southern League, Eastern League, they're all gone. They've been swatted out, or swapped out, I should say, for this brand new affiliate for Major League Baseball. Should be entertaining. I don't know if I agree with all of this, but it'll certainly be entertaining. All right, that'll do it for the show. Many, many thanks to our coaches that called in. Mike Warnecki from Struthers, Steve French from Springfield, Jimmy Francis Shelley from McDonald, Kerry Palermo from Cardinal Mooney. We'll do it again Monday, noon to 3, Running Point on ysnlive.com. Stick around. Running Point is gone. Power Hour is coming up next with DJ and the boys. That's coming up on ysnlive.com. Coming up later tonight, 7 o'clock, Open Look with Mike Ackelson and the boys, presented by WRS Wealth Advisors. We got a ton of games on the network. You can check out Open Look tonight beginning at 7 o'clock.